What's up, Six Borough Podcast fans? How the hell are you? I feel like it's been so goddamn long since we did this. Too long. Vacation, break for Christmas, whew, too long. But we're back at it now, guys, so get ready. This is a good one. First of all, we're brought to you guys by the Municipal Land Survey. You can reach them at 631-345-2658. Contact them for all your land survey needs. You want to buy a new house, doing your property tax over, building a fence, whatever you're doing, whatever you need a land survey for, they're the guys to call. You can reach them again at 631-345-2658. Speaking of buying a house, if you guys are in the market to buy a house for the first time, or you're looking to refinance, shoot Eric over at RCG Mortgage a call or a text at 631-774-1783. Get you pre-qualified, answer any questions you have. Again, you can contact him at 631-774-1783. And if you're buying a new house or some property and you're looking to build a house or you're looking to remodel that house, whatever you guys are looking to do, contact our boys over at AS Engineering Services. They are a full-scale architectural firm and engineering service. You can reach them at 631-560-0259. Also on the interconnected webs at www.asengineeringservices.com. Check out their website. They have some pretty amazing projects that they worked on. If you're a big nerd like I am, you'll enjoy just that, even if you're not looking to build something. Guys, this episode, we have a former UFC fighter, MMA trainer, World Traveler, hilarious guy by the name of Alp. I'm not even going to do him a disservice by trying to pronounce his last name because I will butcher it. We talk about it on the podcast. It was a great episode. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. All right, guys, we're live. Let's get into it.
Six Borough Podcast. D-Rock.
Yarbs.
Erica.
And our guest,
What it is?
Alp, the Turkish delight.
What's up?
Ozkilic.
That was good. High five.
Yes.
That was good.
I'm real proud of myself.
But yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
I've heard some more ignorant ones.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't just meet you, so.
You know, so that's good.
Say it again. Pronounce it again for me.
Ozkilic.
Ozkilic. Gotcha. I always thought it was
good.
Ozkilic.
Bro, in college it was always ridiculous. Like teachers trying to pronounce it because they would just read it off the list. Mm-hmm. And when they start stuttering, I was like, I knew that was me. I was like, all right, right here. You can just go on the album right here, you know, because I knew it was like they would go, oh boy. I'm like, all right, that's me.
Dude, my last name is not nearly as complicated as yours, and they would butcher it. My last name is Della Rocca.
Yeah.
All right, it's all fucking vowels, real simple, and they would butcher my fucking name. So you know, in school, if you get like out of class early, it would come over like the loudspeaker. It would be like David Della Rocco? Della. I'm like, dude, it's like 10 fucking letters. Yeah. They're all vowels and they butcher it, so I can't even imagine.
It's like the substitute teacher from Key and Peele. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Aaron.
Jaqueline?
That was my favorite. That was a good one.
Your last name actually almost sounds German a little bit.
No, actually, I had a lot of Serbian Christian friends in college. They would be like, "Bro, you're Serbian." I'm like, "No, man, I'm not. I swear, I'm not." They're like, "You gotta be like some kind of Yugoslavian." I'm like, "I'm not. I swear." Like
that itch at the end is like what's led me to believe. I'm pretty sure there's some ssimilar German last names that I've heard before.
Are you 100% Turkish?
I am. Well, I assume so. I grew up watching German porn, so I don't remember. I don't remember any kind of last name that's similar.
So you're into that real creepy, kinky stuff, then.
Bro, that was the thing when I was growing up, you know. And
why German?
It was just like, I guess the language. It would just kind of give you that extra turn on. That's all I can think of.
You're into angry chicks.
I'll be back. Like, well, yeah.
You know what? I think that was like a real popular genre when internet porn first came out, because like I've always remembered there being like weird German
Scheiße porn.
Yeah. Well, you don't hear about other countries having their own porn as like a genre. Every time like
That's true.
Every time German is in the title of something, I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be weird. Let's check it out. Like there's something that's gonna happen that's
You know
like
why?
I'd be like, ugh.
You know why? Because you talk about this all the time. You're German, and they're very like organized, orderly
Oh my
people.
God.
So when it comes to getting down, all that by the book shit goes out the window. It's
Out the
time
window.
to get fucking
It's
crazy.
like the Japanese. It's the same way.
Bro, anything but Asian. I don't know any kind of. I put them all in one same category: Japanese, Chinese. I know they're all different, but like,
See, on my I put for a week on my like Tinder and Bumble app. Like
Yeah.
I swipe right for Asians.
oh, do you? Okay, you're that guy. I'm like, after China, I lived in China, so like after China,
Oh, you got it
they
out
all
of your
go to
system.
left. They all go to left.
You got it out of your system. That's
Yeah.
different. You got
Bro, I wish I never did. You know, it was different.
So let's talk a little bit about you're a professional MMA fighter, former UFC fighter. You fought all over the world,
Yep.
Asia, Europe. You fought in South America,
No, Australia.
Australia.
Yep.
You had one of my favorite fights of all time. I think it was in Australia against Lineker, right?
Oh, that was actually Jersey.
Oh, why did I think
That
that was
wasn't
Australia?
bad.
Same
I
thing.
got lucky with that one. Yeah.
That was a great fight, man.
Their
I-
accents are very similar.
Yeah, New Jersey, Austria. Was that Dumb and Dumber, right? He's like, lovely accent you have there. New
Bro.
Jersey.
Wait, she's like, Austria. He's like, throw another shrimp on the bobby.
That's not.
That was a good one.
And you've lived all over the place as well. You've lived in Turkey.
Yep.
You've lived in the U.S. and a couple different areas of the U.S. And then you got back last year from living in China, right?
Yeah, less than a year ago. I moved back in June, but I stayed in Turkey for about 5 months after my surgery. So,
Where's your favorite place to live? You like the U.S. the best? Do you like this cold weather or?
listen,
Look at the beanie. He hates this weather.
I hate the cold. Of course, I hate the cold. Like, people who know me know that I hate the cold. Like, I'm a whole different person when it's cold out. But listen, America is the best place to live. I appreciate U.S. more than anybody because I've lived all over the place. And then this is where you come back to. You know, everything is different here, man. Like, it's fun to go away for a little bit, even like live. Like, you know, I lived in China. You know, I lived in different places. I lived in Germany when I was little. Actually, I know you're German, but I probably know more German than you.
For that good porn, right? You gotta get that good porn.
Yeah.
See how it's made.
It was a part of it, but you know, this is the place, man. This is the place. I have a love-hate relationship with New York, though.
I think we all do. I'm born and raised in New York and have a love-hate relationship with New York.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different
But
place.
this is America is the best place. It really is.
So how you were born in Turkey?
I was
right?
born in Turkey. Well, I've been here since I was 17. But before that, like I said, I lived in Germany until I was 5. I still have family in Germany. You know, my dad worked there his whole life. So
You're real cultured.
I am very cultured. Yeah. I'm very cultured.
German porn, Turkish roots,
Chinese, Chinese pussy. So, all of that, you know.
That's
I
what
got a
you
lot
do.
of things out of my bucket
You're a
list.
man of the earth. That's yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Listen, you'll know the ones.
You fought. I mean, every nationality probably too. You fought Asian dudes. You fought Brazilian dudes. You fought American dudes.
Yeah, that too. That's not the most fun part about being cultured. Fighting everybody from different cultures, but hey.
Who smells the worst?
I never. Should I? I don't know. It's mean though.
I'll throw my 2 cents in there. I fought some smelly fucks before.
Yeah. What's the worst? I don't really like smell it in the fight. I can't really remember, but in training sometimes you guys will like do jujitsu and stuff. You know, like I'm like brush your teeth and like chew gum or like
Clip
I
your
don't know,
nails, you
do
motherfucker.
some-
Look at my hands right now.
Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah, we're on the same page. I got cuts all over my hands
Yeah.
from nasty motherfuckers.
That's that I can handle because that's pain. But the smell, I'm like, that's the worst. That's the worst pain. I'm like, you're suffocating me right now. You know, we're like mouth to mouth, man. Come on, you know, be a little thoughtful. So, but I don't know. I don't because I don't discriminate. Like I really love everybody.
All right,
Stop
I won't
giving.
put you-
Stop,
I'm not gonna
stop
push it.
putting
I'm
up
not
on the
gonna
spot.
Yeah, I just
I
don't
won't put you
want
on the spot. I
Yeah.
won't put you on the spot.
I would. I have no shame, but like, still, I'm. You know.
It's an off-the-air conversation.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That's
you
just
know.
for us.
Okay.
There's some things that's not for everybody.
Indian people. I'm kidding.
It's that curry.
Yeah, I know the curry
Great
sauce.
food, but
Curry
it doesn't smell good on the way out. That's
No.
for sure.
Yeah.
No matter how it's coming out, whether it's through your skin or your ass, it ain't good.
Yeah.
It's never. It don't work out.
No, you're right.
So
I got a question about China before we move
Sure.
on.
go ahead.
What are some of like the craziest cultural differences? You were living in Beijing while you were over there?
I lived in Beijing, but I've been I've seen some different places.
I've been all through China, so I'm like.
Oh, you have too?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I have. My wife has family there that married in, so I've been over there, and I
She's
spent.
not. Your wife isn't Chinese.
No,
right?
she's
Okay.
not. She's from here.
Oh my god, I would have been so embarrassed.
to skip a couple.
I would have been so embarrassed.
But I've been there, but I've spent like a couple of weeks there, and I've been to I guess like 7 or 8 of the like major cities
wow.
over there, like Shanghai, Beijing, Hangzhou, Suzhou, and like a whole bunch of the other areas as well.
Yeah.
But Xi'an was, I guess, like the big one.
I
With the
can't even
terracotta
pronounce
waters.
a lot of the names I've been, so I'm sure I've been to those places too.
Yeah, sure. Just put those on my list also.
I guess China wasn't that much fun, huh?
It was, but like everything looks the same to me. You know?
You know, Beijing is real dirty,
Very dirty.
disgusting,
man.
right?
It's disgusting.
But like, what I didn't get to stay there for an extended amount of time or really get to like mingle with the people.
Yeah.
But what are some of the cultural differences that you picked up between there and here? Like, what are some of the strange things? Because there were a lot. I saw a couple of strange things, but I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, if I lived here, this would just be on another level.
The obvious one is personal space is non-existent.
There's no personal space. Like they'll cough right at your face or like sneeze, or like you know. I would take the subway, which is a lot very convenient for me. I don't have to communicate with nobody. Like I know there's English, so like I'm like on my own, and then like people are like right on your face, like and they just the smell though, like their food. I guess that too, like taking the bus or like taking a taxi.
Yeah, they bring like full cooked meals on the
bro,
bus
a
with
lot
them.
of garlic. They're
Yep.
very heavy, and another cultural difference was women don't shave. Like they just don't shave.
Now it all makes
I
sense.
mean armpits.
Now it all makes sense.
Now it
Even
all makes
armpits.
sense.
Like how much should I get into details?
I think you need to warn
Wait, hold
America.
on. Yeah, this
Warn
is like
us.
hold on, because
You had a German fetish. I might have an Asian fetish. I need to know.
It's not even that. You spent more of your time in America, and you're used to American social norms where women shave their legs, they
Yeah.
shave their armpits. So you go to China, that
Very different.
Yeah, and you
You don't even think about
you
it,
start getting some girl, and you start taking off her clothes.
Yeah.
She lifts her arm up for you to take her shirt off, and you see as much hair as you've got. That's a fucking boner killer
Yeah.
immediately. Yeah, I can sympathize with that. I would not be into that.
So I would ask my Chinese friends. I'm like, why? They don't know any better. So it's
Yes,
totally
yeah.
okay for them. I'm like, bro, like how? I mean, men don't shave either, but like it's still like for hygiene purposes. I'm like,
Well, not only that, it's more for me. It's more of a separation, right? It like highlights the difference between men and women. I like women because they smell good, because they're soft.
of course,
If I wanted to feel,
Nothing in Beijing smells good.
nothing.
you know what I'm
Nothing.
saying? Though
Absolutely
I'm not,
nothing.
You're right, but I'm saying like, if I wanted to feel hair and shit like that, I'd just stay at jiu-jitsu. I wouldn't have to come home to some girl. Like, you know
I've
what
heard
I'm saying?
Grinder works a lot better than Tinder.
I'm sure
in
it does.
China,
I don't know about there, but in general.
I'm sure because they go straight to the point. They don't have time to play games. Like, come on,
true.
there's,
Dudes,
There's no. It's just implied consent if you're on there.
yeah, you can't rape a gay dude if you're gay. It just doesn't happen. You can't rape the willing. and
I
shit. That's not
wonder
how it
if you could
works.
pull up statistics for how many gay rapes happen
Well, more
in New York.
more
Probably
rapes
not.
are carried out on men than women, but that's because most of the victims are in jail getting raped by other men. That's a
Well,
real statistic.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if you
Men
take jail out of it, what do they have like one a year in New York?
There's no such thing.
I mean, aside from
only in
pedophilia
jail.
and that type,
Well,
like
it's-
man on man,
It's only in jail. I
happened
would assume.
once.
Like
Never happened ever outside
you're
of jail.
gay in jail because you don't have a choice. You
I know. I think you have a choice, Steve.
Really?
I don't know. Is that going to be your excuse if you ever go away?
Dave, I hope you never go to jail. I mean,
Too, but I'm saying, like,
Well, I'm here now, so
all right. How many women are in a men's jail? That's my point.
I'm here now, so may as well just go with it. That's what I heard.
If you were life in prison, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that it would be my first choice, but like, I'm not in that position, and I feel like I've watched documentaries where they talk about it. They interviewed dudes who got out of jail, and they're like, when that's all you got,
Yeah, but I guess
You know?
for some guys though, you're always in somebody's bitch in prison. You have to be. You know.
You better wash those drawers.
Well, you better not drop the soap. That's for sure.
Oh,
Man, that's terrible.
they don't shave their armpits either.
I can never go to prison. I would die.
At least you got some fighting skills.
Yeah. I could fight for my life.
I feel like you'd probably earn some respect real quick. You'd fuck up some like big dude real quick.
But
to,
it
like,
depends what kind of prison you go to. I mean, I've seen some documentaries on Netflix. I don't know. I don't know, man. It really depends where you go.
Yeah, I don't want to go upstate. I'm trying to go upstate.
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm cut
security
out
and
for
shit like
prison.
that.
If I ever get in trouble, it's going to be legit trouble. I'm going to federal prison. It's going to be like a country club.
I don't want to go to federal pound me in the ass prison.
Terrible.
All right, so
I would not want to go to Chinese prison.
Oh, fuck that.
They're pretty strict too. I hear people were like, well, even like you could get in trouble for small things, and like they're very strict. They still have the like communist like vibe. I got that a lot of times. Like even I'm a marijuana smoker, occasionally, and that was one of the biggest issues there for me.
Don't do it, right?
They're like,
it's life
no.
in prison, right?
Bro, they looked at it as like a big time drug. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is all you guys need, actually. Like, you guys are too intense. I think you guys don't actually need this.
Smoke a joint, shave your armpits. Fucking
There you go, exactly. But like my foreign friends, and it depends. Like, depending on like if there's like a big meeting going on in Beijing, like a G20 or like a United Nations, some kind of like international meeting. So everything is on high alert. So like. My foreign friends would not want to fuck with nothing, like no weed, nothing. Like they would stay
wear
out
your
of trouble.
seatbelt. Wear your seatbelt.
Yeah, everything. They just don't want to, because like, you know what I mean? Because
it's not worth the risk.
It's not.
When I was over there, we were going out to a lot of I was in my 20s, and we were going out to a lot of nightclubs and bars and
They
lounges.
love foreigners at nightclubs.
Yeah, we were having a lot of fun. We're going to go to this place. It's an opium den. I'm like thinking, oh, this is going to be fucking sick. I've never tried opium before, and I've always wanted to do it. I get there, there's no opium. So I'm like, what's going on? There's beds everywhere, and people on these old ornate French opium beds. This was in Shanghai.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are all these people high on? They're high on something. And it was, a bunch of people that were drinking and like pretending to be high on opium. It was like the most bizarre thing. So I'm like, where do you
La La Land.
I'm like, can you get like ecstasy here? And everyone's like,
no, exactly.
no, I mentioned the term once, and everyone's like, never say that again. Don't say that until you leave.
Listening.
Yeah, they're listening. Don't say that.
Exactly.
I'm like, what drugs do people do here? And they're like, well, some of the monks in the mountains grow marijuana, but don't ask for that either. It's a no-no. And they were saying, if you get caught with opiates here or heroin,
oh my god,
they said it's like death penalty if you have over an ounce.
Yeah.
Like not like, you go to trial and you can plead it down. No, it's like automatic. Bam.
Yeah.
1 ounce of pot. Should we even bring him back to the precinct, or we just shoot him here?
Most of Asia's like that, because I know Singapore, any amount of weed is automatic.
Singapore is very clean though. Like it's like, but you can lick the
I've
streets.
heard that.
Like it's very clean.
because they're under the thumb there, man.
If I'm not, I don't know. I was there for a short amount of time, but like I don't know if this is true. You could only get gum from dentists for like dental purposes, because like they don't want you to spit gum.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember in the 90s.
The kid who got caned?
Yeah, Michael Fay was his name.
How do you know that?
I have a very good memory. So there was an American there traveling. His name was Michael Fay, and he had spit gum on the floor. Or no, he spray painted
cars.
Yes, he spray painted cars. And I guess the police found out it was him, and they sentenced him to like beating him with a giant
lashes
stick.
with a bamboo cane.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And the American government was trying to get him off, and I think they let him get beat, and that was it. But
They
like when you
lowered his
travel,
sentence. It was 5 lashes to 3.
3.
That I remember.
but like you said, when you travel in a foreign country, you have to expect their rules, no matter how egregious they are. You
I'm okay with that here.
100%.
You're just an asshole.
Yeah.
You spray painted a car, you're being a douchebag. You smoking weed? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
a
you
little
need to
different.
die for that.
And
No, I don't agree with that. But like
And you have to think about it from their context. Like Singapore, here it's like, he spray painted a car. We all have cars. In Singapore, that was probably like something that like
The
only
town's
like
car.
the top 5%.
No. I think
had.
Singapore is not like third worldy.
Now.
Oh, Singapore is
Now.
a very first world country.
Yeah, Singapore is like.
Was it though?
But it's
early
very
90s?
expensive. It's a very expensive place, and a lot of foreigners because
That
it's a big
gym,
finance.
I've seen that gym there, Evolve MMA. That thing's fucking
Oh,
sick.
yeah,
Where
yeah.
Shinya Aoki's from there, and like Ben Askren was training there when he was fighting in OFC.
Who's the owner? Chui? I can't remember.
I don't know, but it looks amazing.
I know, one of my girls actually from China, one of the girls that was on my team, she's fighting for the ONE FC title.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, I'm excited for her. She made a lot of progress. And,
Soon or?
I think next week.
Oh shit! Well,
Yeah.
ONE FC is legit.
Yeah, they are. They do. They still do like head kicks on the ground, soccer kicks to the
yeah.
ground.
I like that.
It's like a real weird rule
Yeah.
though. Like I remember there was some kind of controversy. It was Tim Sylvia fought
Orlovsky.
Orlovsky,
Or
maybe?
no,
Yeah.
I think it was Orlovsky versus somebody else. Or
I think it might have been Tim Sylvia and Orlovsky, but Orlovsky soccer kicked him in like it was the ref has to like okay it.
yeah, I
You
think
have
that they
to,
want to
like,
make
get a-
sure is that
You
they're
have to like have eye
coherent.
contact with the ref.
Yeah, so
No.
like the
Go
thing
for it,
is,
man.
Is this good? Is this good?
if
they
I
changed
understand
that.
correctly, what it was is their head can't be obstructed by the cage, so that you're not kicking their head into the cage. So if they're down on all four, the ref has to like give you a signal, and then you can do it.
And they want to make
Okay,
sure.
it's
Yeah,
clear.
it
It's
is.
good.
It
Go ahead,
is.
kick him in the head.
And a part of it was they wanted to make sure that, like, say you get punched and you're knocked out, you're out on the ground,
That
but
you
like
get
almost
kicked.
out on the feet, and like you don't get soccer kicked in the head before the referee has a chance to stop
Right,
it.
right.
So that you're
Yeah.
not taking like damage.
It's real weird in the
I don't
midst
know,
of a
but I
fight.
saw Roger Hurta get. Did you see that one?
God, yeah.
That
That was
one was
horrendous.
bad.
Brutal.
I think that ended his. I never saw him fight after
I don't
that.
think he's fought
Maybe,
since. I know he's making a comeback though.
is he?
Yeah, because
He's
Alex
training in
in
Thailand.
Thailand.
He's a
Tiger-
tiger.
he's a Tiger
He's
Muay Thai coach,
Chris and
actually.
Alex are there right now, and Alex actually posted a picture with him and Roger saying like,
Comeback?
getting ready for the comeback order. So he's making
Oh, wow.
a comeback. But yeah,
I got to watch live fights, soccer kicks to the head in China. They did it just like the prior rules. First round 10 minutes, and the second round was just a 5-minute
Is
round.
this Kunlun or whatever the
No,
one?
no, this was a promotion called Art of War.
Oh, they're a big one too over there, right? One of the larger ones.
Art of War.
Yeah.
It was big. It was. I don't know how big they are. Dude, China is so big. Like my promotion, I work for Kunlun. They were on Jiangsu TV, which is the third biggest TV station. It's not even like the most popular TV station, but they have about 600 million viewers.
Holy
Like,
shit!
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's like larger than the population of the
pretty much.
United States.
But also,
Close to it, yeah.
you know, CCTV is the biggest, but also
Yeah.
everything is owned by the government. So
Government,
like,
Right.
they still not, you know.
I think. Did you fight in Kunlun?
Yeah. Well, they only got me one fight.
Right.
That's why I was.
I think.
screwed over by them.
You know, Uresk, right?
Eric,
Uresk?
yeah,
He
Eric-
fought there too, I believe.
Eric, a while back, I think maybe before I got there.
Yeah,
And,
'cause he went to Thailand before you went to China.
Yeah, and then he didn't like China. I don't know. He always lived in China. I think he just fought for Kunlun.
Yeah,
Because
he lives
Kunlun
in
gets a
Thailand.
lot of fighters from Thailand. Because
Yeah.
a lot of foreigners train there and stuff.
Yeah,
And,
he didn't live in China. I know that. He went to London. Well, he went to Thailand, to London, and back to Thailand.
Yeah, he's been all over too, but he loves Thailand. I
Yeah.
think he's staying there.
I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, Eric put up a post. He might be training the woman you're just talking about because he was talking about a woman.
Because
who's
a lot of
fighting
my Chinese, after I left, they started going to Thailand because they
Okay.
were getting good training there. You know, a lot of Russians go there and train. A lot of Americans too, because it's nice weather, very cheap. You get great training partners.
Have you been to Thailand?
I've been, but I didn't train. I just went to
Party.
for a good time.
Okay.
Nice.
No later
You went to
boys.
Phi Island.
No later boys. They say Phi Island, Phi Island. We say Fifi. They say Phi Island, Phi Island.
You went to Phi Island and took somebody to Phi Island. I know how that works.
Oh man, good times. The parts I can remember.
Right on. All right, so I got a question.
Sure.
So, well, let's preface this, even though we're fucking half hour deep in this. We'll give the good preface now. But Eric and I had the privilege of getting to train with you actually for a while.
I
so,
appreciate it.
I know your background, but our listeners, all 7 of them, don't. So you come from a wrestling background, right?
Yeah.
Did you pick that up? Because I know Turkey has
Turkey has good
wrestling
wrestling.
is like. So you started off right wrestling in Turkey. Is that what got you into? What led you to MMA and all that stuff? Like,
I didn't know, bro. I'm the worst MMA fighter, actually. Like, as far as like being an MMA fan, I'm the worst. I didn't even watch any UFC up until I decided to get in. Like, you
So
know me,
what is this all about? Okay, cool. Let's do it.
dude. Listen. So I wrestled all the way through college, right? I wrestled at Nassau here, Long Island, for 2 years, and then I went out to Missouri on full scholarship. It was called Lino University. And so So on the weekends, my teammates, friends would go watch. They're like, hey, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch. I'm like, what fights? Like, I had no interest. I would just do my own thing. I had my own friends. Like, I had friends that didn't wrestle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I love. I love wrestling, but like my social circle was always different. So I never really got into going out to bars on the weekends and I was very dedicated. Like 6 a.m. practices, I would go to bed at like 9, 10. I would get up early for like my 6 a.m. practices. I was very like dedicated, just doing the right thing. Wasn't going out to bars, just doing my own thing with friends or whatever. So I was out of eligibility. I couldn't wrestle anymore, but I was still in school. I was like, shit, like I'm so bored. What do? I wrestled my whole life. And at the time, my teammate, he was also my roommate for a while in college. Josh Sampo. He was a UFC flyweight too. We actually got signed a week apart. He got signed first, and then a week later they signed me. So, and he had been training MMA for like a year when I was done when I was done with wrestling. So he's like, hey, why don't you come help me with some wrestling at my MMA gym? I was like, all right, I'll come. Like, I'm bored, whatever. And so I go there one day, and the coach is like, hey, you're good, man. Like, your wrestling is pretty good. Why don't you come, try it out? I was like, all right, I'll come. For a couple months, they didn't, like, show me anything. I just went and, like, trained whatever. I did whatever I could.
Just a body.
Yeah, I was like, I was just trying to kill some time and stay in shape or whatever, like, trying to figure out what's next. And so I'm amateur, like, I'm getting amateur fights and stuff. I'm still not going to watch fights. And at the time, I had a Versus channel on at home, like, free cable. I'm still in college.
Days?
Yeah, WC days. Yeah. That's what I started watching. I was like, I would watch it if it was on TV. Like, Faber was one of my first, like, wow, like, this guy's pretty cool. Mike Brown, Brian Bowles, like, these small guys. Dylan Cerrone was there. So, like, those times.
This is like when the UFC didn't even have 155 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah. UFC didn't have. They had 55, I think. They didn't have anything less than 55.
Yeah, they might have just reintroduced it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah.
So, like, that's when I slowly started getting into it. I was like, I didn't even know Uriah Faber's name. I knew him as the California Kid because that's how they would, like, promote him on TV and stuff.
Flip-flops guy.
Yeah, exactly. Who else was there? Like, Danny Castillo was there, I think.
Pettis.
Miguel Torres.
Yeah, Miguel Torres was a G back then. Miguel Torres?
Miguel Torres was good. Benavidez stopped kind of his run. So those are the days like I started getting into. So I still remember those days.
Johnson, too.
Demetrius Johnson, yeah. He was still like not there yet. He was okay. He was sloppy. He was like as good.
Not
like,
what he is now.
Yeah. And Demarcus Page, I remember that guy. So I was like, one day I went out finally with an MMA team. Like they were going out to watch the fights. I was like, all right, I'll come. Whatever.
This was all in Missouri?
This is all happening in Missouri. And I was so, like, I didn't fit in the culture there. You know what I mean? Like, look at me. I'm a Turkish guy from New York. I'm very European and my city guy. Like, I did not fit in. Like, I stood out everywhere I went in Missouri.
They wear Wranglers and, like...
Bro, camouflage jackets. Like, you see...
Payless boots, not the fancy ones.
These are nice. But, like, you would see, like, hot-ass girls with, like, these redneck dudes. I'm like... Like, look, I dress nice. Like, look at me. I'm like Metro. Like, what do you guys do with these boys? You know what I mean? Like, whatever. So, like, one day with my MMA team, we went out to watch the fights. So I was like, this is pretty cool, man. Like, I want to do this. Then I actually started, like, watching, UFC and stuff. And then I was probably, like, an amateur for, like, a year. I had 6 fights, and then I turned pro. That's pretty much how I got into it. I didn't even, like, think about fighting up until I finished college,
right.
So I sometimes like I talk to my friends and they're like they remember like UFC 10, UFC 20. I'm like I had to go back and watch them to even like know who was fighting at the time. So I'm a horrible fan. That's what it comes down to.
Well, it seems like wrestling is it's just the next logical step from wrestling. It's just especially
after
now.
Wrestling. Yeah, I agree. And a lot of good wrestlers make great transition into fighting, though. If you come in pretty much like fit the person ready. If you think about it, like a kickboxer that's older than 20 years old, trying to come in and trying to learn wrestling is a whole different story. Now I feel like I started boxing after I was like, I don't know, 23, 24. Now I feel like I'm at a pro boxing level, like because I give my pro boxer friends sparring sessions, and I give them a very hard time, like. If there were fights, I probably would have a lot of the sparring sessions against my pro boxer friends. And, a wrestler can do this because you're athletic. You've been doing this for so long. You're pretty much, you're very athletic. You hit hard naturally.
You know how to train, too. That's the big thing is that you already know how to train. You've come from, like, that discipline and hard training. Like, you know what it takes already.
Yeah. So wrestling is definitely the base of everything. And if you're a little kid and trying to get into any kind of combat sports, obviously go start gymnastics first. Track is a great start. Gymnastics is a great start just to be athletic and try to pick up everything in the future. Those are great starts. That's the Russian actually mentality. Before you even start wrestling in Russia, look at those like Chechens and Dagestan.
Well, that's
people.
Lomachenko.
Oh, Ukrainian. He was a wrestler too.
Well, his dad made him do dance.
Yep.
Like traditional Ukrainian
folk dance.
dance
folk.
for like 3 years. 4 years.
You're right.
And that's why he's got the
footwork
best
insane.
footwork. It's ridiculous.
That's one thing from the Soviets you can take and imply it into your own system. They start if you sign up to wrestling for 2 years, you just do gymnastics. They don't even let you wrestle. For a long time, as you're a little kid, they just let you do gymnastics and
Well,
it's just like molding you.
They're the strongest people. Like,
God,
do you remember Andre LaRouge? Mm-hmm. He was a gymnast for years. You can't sweep that motherfucker. It's like impossible. He can balance on one hand or one leg like nobody's. It's insane. And he does like all those cartwheel passes that are like, but he does it like perfect. It's insane.
They're freaks, man. Yeah. Gymnasts are crazy as core. Core is the base of everything too.
Yeah.
So,
but Turkey, like wrestling is like the national culture, right? It's huge.
Turkey is wrestling is the national sport. It's more like a tradition. Teams should have been a lot better than what it is now. Sometimes it's a shame. Sometimes they barely medal, and I blame the system and whoever's in charge of the whole thing. Because I look at, look at Russia. They still have nationals every year. Like they take their national tournament very seriously.
Well, they also shoot them all.
I was about to say you got to get on that good doping program then.
Yeah.
Have you seen that documentary, Icarus?
I think they're all done, right? Like are they all banned from?
Yeah.
What's the documentary?
No.
What's the documentary called?
This documentary is called Eric. You're good at explaining Icarus.
Right.
You nail it.
But before they're banned from competing under Russia.
Under the Russian flag.
They're still able.
Some of them are some people that if they test right now that are clean, they can compete in the Olympics under the Olympic flag.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to compete as Russians because it was a whole state-sponsored steroid scandal.
So who are they going to represent?
Of the Olympics.
They're representing themselves.
Yeah.
It's like Vladimir whatever from the Olympics.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But last Olympics they did a refugee team actually. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the they just represented the
Well,
refugees.
I think that's where the exception is coming from. I think that's part of the loophole.
Okay.
But you got to watch. You have Netflix, right?
Yeah.
You got to watch the documentary.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's insane. Explain it.
Just so that people understand that are listening, essentially over the last 2 or 3 years, they uncovered a top-down from the head of the Russian government, Vladimir Putin, was financing a state-sponsored research and doping program to get around the Olympics anti-doping program. And
WADA.
Yeah, WADA it was called, and the World Anti-Doping Association.
Yeah.
And it was so deep that they had the scientists that worked for WADA had been like secret double agents working for the Russian government. So at the same time that they were developing, they knew the methods in order to beat the tests, and they were allowing it was almost 80% of the Russian Olympic team, or 90% of the Olympic, the Russia's Olympic team were all on these protocols that were based around evading the world anti-doping tests. And
the same guy in Russia, the same scientist who worked for WADA, was also on the payroll of the Russian government to administer the steroids to the athletes. It was like fucking.
It was basically insane, and they were using everything in the book in order to cheat, from like designer drugs to, we're gonna have the doping, the lab to test the drugs are going to be over here, and we're going to buy the building next door, and we're going to put a hole in the wall behind a light switch so that our internal secret agent in the Olympic anti-doping program will switch out samples through the light switch when they remove it to some guy in the other building to clean samples so that the Russian athletes wouldn't get caught. But it's a really good documentary. Yeah. Everybody should watch it just so that.
Wow. Well, what's even crazier is how they uncovered it.
Well, we shouldn't go into that now. That's like a whole other story.
It's worth it because I feel like it. Just a quick gloss over. I'll do it quick. The reason how it came about, there was a guy who was a cyclist, and he's an amateur cyclist. He was doing the hardest amateur cyclist thing, and the whole Lance Armstrong thing. So he decided he was going to get on the protocol and see if not only he could evade testing, but how good steroids would make him do. And
He was like a case study.
Yeah.
And in the process of doing
He was
this,
guinea pigging himself.
yeah, he went after trying to get like the best people to administer it to him. So what happened is, through a mutual contact, he got put in touch with the Russian dude who did all this
Wow.
stuff. And over the course of the Russian guy giving him this whole protocol is when the whole thing started to unravel, where like it started hitting the news about the state-sponsored doping thing, and it was that fucking guy who was helping.
wow.
So this guy was doing this documentary as it all unfolded. It was pretty nutty.
And he escaped from Russia because 2 of the other guys that he worked with got killed by the Russian government.
Yeah.
And he
They
escaped-
seized all his assets. and
Yeah,
shit.
they seized
Russia,
all his
man.
assets. He was able to escape to the U.S., and he had every doping regimen with him on a hard drive that every Russian athlete had been on since the 80s. So they had he had
He
thousands.
could actually take medals away now.
Well,
Oh, yeah, they have.
No,
They
they
are.
have, and they are
From,
they're
like,
going back.
80s.
From the 80s. I think it might even been the late
All
70s.
from the test that this guy fucking this guy developed. So all right. So John Jones just got caught with
Yeah.
what was the steroid?
I don't
Tyrannosaurus.
Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah.
Right. So only up until like 3 years ago, you couldn't find Tyrannosaurus. It was out of your system within like 3 to 6 days. This guy developed a test for the long-term metabolite where you could catch it up to like 7-8 months. This particular dude in the documentary is the one who developed the fucking test. So he developed ways to catch all these people and then would get ahead of it and figure out how to clean up samples that his athletes already taken. He'd like add pinches of salt to their urine to
sample?
throw the test off. So he was working both sides. It was, dude, it's fucking
Wow,
nuts.
that's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's pretty
Russians,
sick.
man, their system is like
They're on some
I don't
next
know.
level shit.
they are on to next level.
Like,
shit.
you know, they're cloning humans already, and they have been for a while.
Well, the guy, the scientist says it. He goes, all the steroids that people in America are on now were developed in the 1960s. And he's like, whatever tests they have right now, and he was talking about stanozolol and what's the other one, like Winstrol and shit like that. He's like, the tests that they have for that now, he's like, we're already 6 steps ahead of that.
I believe it. Russia is like a great example of like the best and the worst at everything. Like they're either very good at something or like watch ridiculousness sometimes. Like sometimes they show some of the stupidest shit.
Oh, the
Some
dashboard cameras.
Or like some drunk dude like doing something stupid. He's Russian because I can hear them talking like oh Nostrovia. I like this guy in Russian
That's Russia.
doing some stupid shit.
He's hanging off. He's hanging off the scaffolding on a
Yeah.
crane, like 400 stories up into the air.
Yo, those dude, I follow that dude on Instagram.
Who?
There's this Russian dude who climbs like cranes.
Yo,
and
he's fucking crazy.
Yo.
Like, terrifying.
He rode a Razor scooter on the edge of the Burj Khalifa.
Did he die?
No,
No, yeah, he's.
dude, it's the craziest shit.
It's
ever.
scary. It's stuff like even if you don't have a fear of heights, like you see that shit and you're like, oh,
Dude,
get away.
I get white knuckled, like looking at it.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that.
fuck all that. Like I like heights. I've been skydiving.
I'm down to like adrenaline, pumping. Like I like doing things that get me excited, but I like staying alive, and I don't like getting.
You gotta draw the line somewhere.
know?
Yeah.
You ever been
Riding-
skydiving?
That's one thing I haven't done. I've done a lot of things, but that's one thing I haven't done. I don't know. There's actually. Oh, actually, I wanted to go. They do out here in Suffolk.
Yeah.
But somebody died. His parachute didn't open.
Yeah. Dude.
So I was like, and
I think they closed that one down.
They had actually,
did.
they had a lot of sale going on after this guy's death. I was like, this is actually a good time to go because it's pretty cheap.
You want to hear a crazy
Were they
story?
running like Groupons like the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
week?
I swear to God, they had Groupons, like, very cheap. I was like, I don't know. I would go. I just couldn't get enough people to go with me.
Dude,
You had to do like a group thing.
I went to that place. I went to the one where the guy died years before, like 3-4 years before. But I went, and we went on my birthday. I went with my friend. So you go, you sign up, whatever, and they get you in like the loading deck because they only have 2 planes. So one goes up, and they load the groups. This particular day, whatever, they only have 1 plane. So we're waiting for the plane to come back, and we're watching the group ahead of us go. And they land in I think it was like 12 to 13 people at a clip. They all land, and they're all hysterical crying. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's me and my buddy. We're like, what's going on? And you have to do a tandem. So they land, and we're like, the fuck's going on? The guy's like, the first person who jumped, their chute didn't open, the first one. So they cut the chute away and used the backup. So like they watched this happen. They watched the people on the plane watched their friend jump out, saw this shit hit the fan, and then jumped out themselves. Like they all lived, they were all fine or whatever. So the guy who did it walks up to my buddy Dave. He's like, statistically, you're the safest guy here because that shit ain't gonna happen twice. Let's roll.
No way!
And so we got up in the fucking plane and went right after that. I was like, yo, this
So
is
you
fun.
did it?
Yeah, we did it.
Like oh my
Right
God.
after. And the guy was like, he made sense. He's like, that's like a 1 in a million thing. He's like, so you right now, he's like, because the guy who we went with, it was his shoot that didn't open. You know, the guy that we did the tandem jump, the pro or whatever. He's like, don't worry, it's not going to happen to me twice. You're safe. You're the safest guy in this fucking plane. I'm like, well, what does that make me?
Wow.
Yeah, it was fucking nuts, dude.
It's a bucket list thing. It's definitely it's doable.
It's fun, man.
Yep.
Dude, we landed in like, I was like, that was the funnest shit I ever did, and went right back up.
How long does it take? It's like a 3-minute fall.
It's 13 miles.
Yeah.
You go up 13 miles. You free fall for 1 minute. So the first jump, they throw this like little. It's not a full free fall, right? So they throw this like little bag, so it gives you resistance. So there's drag, but so you free fall for 60 seconds. They deploy their chute, and then the chute opens, and then that's probably about 2.5-3 minutes where you like float down or whatever.
Okay.
And dude, you got to do it more than once because the first time.
Oh, you did it? Did you do it more than once?
Yeah, I've done it 3 times.
Back to back, same.
No,
day?
I did 2 back to back.
Okay.
I went again
Okay.
2 years later. You have to go a second time because the first time you go, at least in my experience, it doesn't even make sense to you. You're going, you're just.
You're like, what happened, right?
Yeah, because 2 things for me at least. When I went, you jump, and it's cold as fuck. But then you're going so fast that it doesn't even make sense. Like, because you've never gone that fast ever. I don't care how fast you've driven a car. You've never gone that fast. So it doesn't even make sense to you how fast you're going. But also you're like, holy shit, I'm doing this. So you kind of can't.
Comprehend everything.
Yeah, you can't get to the moment because you're just so like, holy shit, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
You can observe. You don't know what's happening. Yeah.
So the second time, you already kind of know what to expect, so you can calm down and really like take it in. I thought, to be honest with you, the second time, after the shoot deploys was real cool because it's just like real peaceful. You go from this crazy rush to like, holy shit, you have the sickest view, and then if you get a cool guy, they let you steer.
Nice.
So you're fucking doing. Then you're doing like barrel rolls and
Is
shit.
that one guy like attached to you? Pretty much like when you're back.
Yeah. You have to.
How close is he to you?
Oh, you're nuts to butts.
Oh, it's humping you. Huh?
Yeah,
It's like a dry hump.
It's just like somebody has your back in jiu-jitsu. There's no difference.
Yeah.
Except he's whispering in your ear. It's like, over there's Connecticut. Like he's not trying to choke you, so it's good.
Okay. All right.
No, it's fuck it, dude. It's
not
cool.
quite prison.
No,
No, it's there's no soap involved. You don't have to do his laundry. But it's fun.
Yeah, I'm all about experiencing everything once. Like you do once, some things twice. If it's really good. But I'm all about
So
you
girls
live
with
once.
armpit hair once.
All right. I couldn't even do it. I'm not gonna lie. That actually happened at a spa. So my guys took. Dude, you gotta look when you go to China. You have to go to their spas. Like it's really nice, beautiful. Just like the whole thing is like you get a massage. You get a room from the spa area. You go upstairs. You get one of the rooms. Nice bed, TV. Like they bring you food, tea, whatever. Like they treat you really nice. And it's like how like the Japanese geisha women, like they do everything for you. They're pretty much same system. Like they
concubines.
Yeah, they do everything for you. Like I'll try to get up to get some tea. They're like, oh no, like sit down. Like they'll give you your tea. Like they do everything for you.
Do they button your shirt up for you and shit like that? Like
they take your clothes off and stuff. Like get you ready for your massage and stuff. And so that experience happened there. I was like, I saw she lifted her arms. She lifted her arms up, and I was like, "Whoa, what is that?"
What the fuck?
I was like, I didn't want to see the rest. I was like, "No, you're good.
Yeah.
I am gonna finish it on my own."
When
I've been doing this for a long time. I know what them do.
nobody drives the bus like the bus driver.
Listen, we all do it.
Years ago, 7-8 years ago, I used to go into Brooklyn a lot.
I love Brooklyn.
In Williamsburg.
Yep.
We used to go to the Spot Union Pool. Awesome bar. So we met these girls, and outside in the back of Union Pool, there's like a whole like courtyard area. There's like a taco truck out there. It's fucking sweet. So we're out there hanging out. It's like August or whatever.
I never see taco trucks here. There's taco trucks there?
There's a taco truck in the back of the
okay.
bar. Yeah.
That's one thing we're missing here. Like, that's what I like about, like, Cali and stuff. There's those taco trucks.
Yeah, there's not a lot of. I mean, there
Yeah.
are some food trucks around here, but
There's
not,
a lot of halal food here, but there's no...
Yeah.
There's no taco trucks.
In
But
so
go ahead.
in Union Pool outside, like I said, there's a whole courtyard area with a taco truck back there, and so we're hanging out, or whatever. And we meet these girls, and they're fucking Williamsburg hipsters, whatever.
Yep.
So they're emo, and you talked about bands, whatever. So the girl, there was like I think there's like four.
Hipsters don't shave, bro.
Nope.
I'll tell you now.
Found that out the hard way. So I knew, like, we were talking to these girls for a while, and I knew they were hipsters. I
Something
knew
was
they were,
up.
she was like, I'm vegan, and whatever.
And
Yeah.
she did CrossFit.
No. This was years ago. This was before
they're
CrossFit.
hipsters.
Or
They don't do
gluten
CrossFit.
free.
Yeah, they're
This was
gluten-free
before that.
vegans.
No, but she's like, I live a cruelty-free life. I'm like, "Alright, whatever. So we go back to my buddy's house, well, his apartment or whatever, and I'm fooling around with this girl in an air mattress.
Nice, classy.
Right? So, so we're making old, like those plastic air mattresses. Everything's noisy. It's already awkward as fuck, right?
You're, like, drowned in. Like, it drags you
Yeah.
inside of the mattress.
Yeah.
You
So
sink.
I was pretty drunk, and I ate tacos, so I'm like burping and stinking, and shit was like bad. So this girl takes her shirt off, and like you said, she lifts her arms up, and I look, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, my God.
And she's got armpit hair. Like a motherfucker.
That's when you don't want to know what's down there.
Dude, so literally, she sees me, because I was like this. She looks at me, she goes, oh, yeah, I don't shave. And I was like, yeah, I can see that. I'm like, what the fuck?
What do you have against shaving? I'll buy you a razor.
Because she's natural, holistic,
Yeah.
is what she told me. I'm like, do you use soap? She's like, no.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Done.
It's a wrap.
Dude, I literally was just like, I can't do this.
It's bad.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
Bro, I don't know if you can ever be...
Yeah.
You have to be blacked. You have to be blacked out.
If I'm not drunk, I'm passed out.
Yeah, I wasn't drunk enough for that.
Yeah.
So, it ended up ruining everybody's
bad.
night because she told me that I was intolerant.
Oh my gosh.
And she literally packed up and went and got her other two friends, like pulled her friend out of my other
Oh,
buddy's
she
room.
was being a cockblock.
Oh, she pulled everybody out of there,
Oh.
ruined the whole night for everybody.
Well, she sucks.
It's like, yo, bitch, we could sit down and fucking talk, like, but I'm not
Sounds
doing
like
it.
like a caveman.
Dude, I was not prepared for that.
Did you have shoes on?
Yeah, I don't
It's just a
I
while
don't
ago.
remember.
I don't
Yeah,
think
this
it
was like 2009,
Was she homeless?
maybe.
Dave, are you sure she wasn't homeless?
Hey,
You know what, dude? With the amount of hair she had, she could have been. I don't
she
know.
could have been.
She wasn't homeless.
It's cool. Like, I like the whole hipster thing. Like, I like when I see them. I'm like, wow, they're cool. Like, they do their own thing. Like,
got
they don't
good
really
food.
care about
They have
anybody
good
else.
food.
What do they eat?
Sometimes.
Like wheatgrass?
They're all into like organic and grass fed. And
Yeah, but
like,
that's the problem. She took that and was like,
Yeah.
she was going to be organic and not shave her armpits. This is natural. This is a woman's body. I was like, no, it's not.
No.
It's not a woman's body I've ever fucking
It's a
seen.
You're a cave woman.
Yeah.
Hey, woman.
Yeah. Welcome to 2009, bitch. Pick up a razor. You know? Come on.
Good one.
Fuck that.
Well,
So I sympathize. I know you
Yeah.
play. I've been there.
Bad. Hope not to go back to it.
So,
Yep.
well, we summed up China already.
Oh, I'm sure I'll remember things from China. Like there's so I could write a book
You
from the
should.
experiences I've. Dude, the whole time I was there, I'm like every day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start a diary today. And I'm like every day I'm gonna start a diary today. I'm gonna start a diary today. It never happened. It never happened. But oh man, I hung out with a lot of like people from like the Chinese triads. Like people like these people were like the shit. They're all driving like crazy sick cars. I have no idea what they do for work, but like they're all like
They kill people.
Yeah.
I don't know, possibly, but like China produced so many millionaires for the last 10 years. Nobody knows where they came from, and the funny thing is, since they spend most of their lives poor, so they don't know how to be actually cool and classy. Like when they dress, like they put on everything, like all kinds of different colors. I'm like, you look so funny, like you look so stupid. Just because like you have money They think, oh, I have money. I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna put this on, put that on, this color, that color. Dude, you can't. You don't match. I know. I understand you trying to.
Louis Vuitton. They got slippers on and a bathrobe.
But the worst, ugliest colors. Yes, they are buying all the expensive stuff, but I'm like...
So is this who Conor McGregor's hanging out with? Because, like, he wears some goofy shit, too. Like,
yeah.
I know he's got fuck you money now, so is that what happens? Like,
I guess...
You get fuck you money, you're like, fuck it, I'm wearing pastels, bitch.
Wear whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you.
I guess when you're that rich... yeah. And, like, my boss in China, like, dude is a millionaire. He owns a freaking fight promotion. Like, he has... From Borkov to you name it, like, tons of, like, famous fighters fighting for him. And he would come to the gym, so he loves showing me off because I'm the foreign guy. He brought me from the UFC and stuff, so like he loved. And we all had like celebrities coming to our gym. I have no idea who these people are, but they're like movie stars and stuff.
Chinese movie stars?
Yeah. A couple people came for their like after. So this one kung fu guy, he's like just like Jackie Chan, but he's only famous in China. He's not, he wasn't international the famous.
Yeah.
But after one of his movies, he came to our gym for like not like a signing, but like, what would you say? Like some kind of like...
Publicity.
Yeah. Like he came like with the TV and everything. So like, so my boss loved... What the fuck was my boss's name? Zhang Hua. That was his name. So he loved showing me off. Like every time he had a guest, like first thing he would do, like come and like introduce me. Oh, they would speak in Chinese and like, I'm like, okay, cool. I felt like a prostitute. Literally, I felt like a prostitute. So anyways, like this guy who's paying me, like you brought me here, you're my boss. Obviously you have a lot of money. He's like the Dana White of China. You know what I mean? So like, he would come to the gym, so that he actually understood English, but he kind of like felt insecure to speak it. He could speak, like when we were one-on-one, he would speak English to me, because like, I wouldn't judge him, he knew it. But like he was just kind of like embarrassed if there were people around, and like he would look, he sounded funny, but like I would never like make fun of them. I would try to understand them. I actually would speak broken English with them so that they would understand, because like some of my
so much easier, right?
So much easier.
So much easier.
Like one of my best friends that I still talk to him, I actually spoke to him a couple days ago, John Lee Peng. He actually fought Chris Wade in Boston. I don't know if you remember him. So small world, man. Like we became my first day I get there. Like he was a part of the gym. He was a part of the gym. After UFC cut him, he started fighting for Kunlun. He's the poster boy now. Like after he went back to China, he went on like a 65 winning streak.
Holy shit.
But the thing is, he's really good, and he is very good. At the time when like he fought Chris and stuff, his wrestling sucked. I helped him a lot with wrestling. He got better. He's young too, so like UFC was like a high level for him. In China, he's really good. But like, so he understood English. So like, I would only like use words that he would understand. I would be like, "Hey, John Lepong, let's," like I would say like, "Punch, 2 minutes, no takedown." Like he would understand me. Like
we have to do that with one of our friends who used to do the podcast with us, Skanka, because he's so drunk all the time. You have to speak broken
But he's
English.
in America. He speaks English, right? But anyways, I went from topic to topic. But so my boss would come to the gym. Sometimes like he had like all kinds of cars. He had like $200,000 like Benz. He would be like, "Hey, do you like my car? It's my car." I'm like, "I know, motherfucker, it's your car. Like, are you really showing off your car? Like, you're paying me, man. Like, you're paying my salary. It's funny. You're like,
I know you're rich, motherfucker."
Because he wasn't rich growing up. Like, he became rich because like people would tell me how like he was like a driver, and then somehow like somehow nobody knows, and he had like army connections. I think like certain things I never figured out. The a year and a half I spent there were a lot of things I still could not figure out.
I saw a lot of that while I was there. I remember we were at this one strip of bars, and one of my wife's relatives that lived there said, "All right, when we go out tonight, I'm taking you to this strip of bars, and whatever you do, don't get in any fights, don't get in any arguments, and if you see any like older men wearing slippers, stay away from them, and come get me." So I'm just like, and my friend was like, Washu was like, "Oh, I know you fight. I know that you can handle yourself, but that's not a problem here. This is owned, this whole strip of bars and clubs and lounges are owned by a general. And when we get there, the military is going to be guarding, and not like the fake police or the guys that wear uniforms with no guns. Like there's going to be guys with machine guns that are standing out front. And this is where you don't fuck around." So like we go there.
This was in Beijing?
This was in Shanghai. And we go to this strip of bars. There might have been like 10 clubs and all different types. There's like an American country western themed one with like line dancing, and all filled with like girls in quotation marks, and so we're there hanging out, and I see like a couple of these like older like Chinese guys in their 50s and 60s that you could tell were like the guys with money, and as you were speaking about earlier, like they don't know how to be rich.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking over and I see one of these guys is with this Chinese woman that was like definitely like in her 40s but real hot, and my friend Washu is like, "Do you see her necklace?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, why?" And it was just like a round ball, like a big pearl. He's like, "That's like a Chinese designer status symbol, and those necklaces start at $500,000."
Holy shit.
And I'm like, he's like, US. And I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah, they're not worth that. But if you're like a baller in China, you buy your wife one of those just because you could say, yeah, I got so much money, I could buy my wife this stupid necklace because the money doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
That's how rich I am.
Yep.
And like we saw a lot of that over there, like people just bawling out like as hard as ever. And even like the younger guys, one of the craziest things that like I still don't get, when I went over there, my grandmother, who was in her like 70s at the time, had bought the brand new Buick LaCrosse. And it was when the LaCrosse came out and there were like these little like louvers on the fenders that like looked like air vents. And they were like real cheesy. You'd be like, oh, look at that cheesy old man car trying to be retro. But over there, like young dudes would like roll up to like the strip with like their window down and their music on with like pull up on the ladies with their Buick. And I'm like, yo, why are all these young guys drive these Buicks? He's like, well, they're marketed differently over here. They like, this is like American luxury. And you're like a real straight baller. It would be like if you're like a young American guy and you're driving like a convertible BMW or a Jaguar. So they were like all rocking these Buick LaCrosses over there. I just couldn't get over it.
That's fucking hilarious. My boss drives a Buick LaCrosse.
Baller.
It's like champagne colored.
There's a soccer dad here. He's gonna be a soccer dad, but
He'd be pulling all the bitches if he was in China right now.
He's just
But I've seen some of the sickest cars. Though, like when you go to these, bars like in Beijing. I don't know. Do you remember the stadium area?
Yeah.
This is where all the nice
Yep.
bars and clubs are. And like I said, like it's a privilege. So foreigners are welcomed everywhere. You go in for free. Plus I had good connections from like my fighting community, but they would always want to take me out. I'm like, I really don't want to go with you guys tonight. Like, I want to go hang out with my foreign friends, But like, they would treat you really nice. Like, you pretty much don't pay anything. You're invited everywhere. I'm like, I feel bad, man. Like, I feel like a freeloader. Like, let me pay for my own shit at least. But like, that's their culture. Like, you're the guest, you're the foreign guy, so they pay for everything. So you go to these clubs, there's like Ferraris and Lamborghinis in front of these clubs. But they still don't know how to act. Just like you said, like, they still don't know how to behave. Like, they'll be squatting and sitting down on the street, like in front of their cars, like smoking cigarettes, like spitting. Like, I'm like, they do that in the restaurant. Like, you're eating. My first day with my bosses, I had a couple, like, the president and the vice president, so they took me out to eat, and they love their noodles, right? So we go, and I'm like,
That udon noodles.
yeah, those are actually the good ones.
shit is
They
delicious.
spin them around
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they make them and they bang them on the
Yep.
table. It makes all that noise.
Yep, so like, I went to college for business. Like, I know, I've been in, like, business environments. Like, I know how to, like, have, like, a business dinner. Like, I know how to behave and, like, talk and whatever. Like, so I'm very behaving myself. So, next thing I know, my boss dips his head into his noodle bowl. He goes... Next thing I know, he's, like, spitting on the floor in the restaurant. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, I guess I should be comfortable. Like, why am I really trying here? So I'm like, where?
It's like giving everybody in Mastic $1 million.
I was like, where?
How gross are the bathrooms over there?
A lot of them are squat down. I'm like, shit, my knees first of all fucking hurt. I can't really squat down this much.
Yo, how hard is that? And we're like young and sort of athletic. I couldn't imagine being like an
Wait, what is
old
a
white
squat
person.
down?
It's a hole in the floor.
It's a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
And no
So you
toilet
have-
paper. And they don't have
You
toilet
have
paper.
to bring
You
your
gotta bring your own.
Shut the fuck up.
Bro, oh my god.
And sometimes they charge you too.
What?
Possibly.
Depending where you are. Like if you're in like a
Like,
public
is it in a
restaurant-
restaurant and it's a hole in the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
Like,
shit.
so like, if you go to a very Chinese place, if it's in a Chinese neighborhood, there's no foreigners going there. Yes, everything is Chinese. It's a hole in the ground. But like, if you go like in Beijing downtown, Sanlitun area, like that's where all the foreigners hang out. There's like very nice. Everything is new. All restaurants have like regular toilets, like but still, I would make sure like I would use the bathroom at home before I went to practice, so I don't have to deal with that.
How the first time I did, I remember like I was like posted up with my arm behind me on the wall. I'm like trying not to piss on my shoes, and it was terrible. Trying to like.
That's the one time being tall probably really sucks, huh?
I don't know. I didn't even get that far. I was just too worried about shitting on myself.
That's actually scientifically that's a healthier way.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Squatty potty.
Yeah.
You ever try the squatty potty?
No, that's when you're little.
No, it's a little.
It's like a step. It's like a step stool, basically, that you put your feet on in front of the toilet, so that like you're squatting.
Oh, your angle is different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. I just don't think about it, man. I just go like shit.
Well, we had a guest come on and really hammer it home, so we ended up buying one.
Oh wow!
Want to try it?
Here.
There's a commercial for it that really fucking sells
God,
it.
it's so fucking funny.
The commercial, you'd be sold in a second.
Wow.
And then if you have Amazon Prime, it's just like, it's a no-brainer.
There in 2 days. Free shipping.
Yeah. And
I'm good.
yeah, listen, I know you've been around, you're cultured, but you haven't used a squatty potty, you haven't lived.
You're right. I guess that's my next thing in the bucket list.
You got to do it.
Go skydiving, and then right when you land, shit with the squatty potty.
I have a couple questions about Turkey also.
Sure.
I've never been there before,
Yeah.
and it's one of the places on my, like, over the next couple of years that I would like to visit.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of, like, the big cultural differences between, like, America and Turkey and then China and Turkey?
I would say certain, like, Turkey is very clean, so Turkish and Chinese culture are actually similar. Not too bad as far as, like, being conservative with certain things. But it's changing a lot though. Like now, like 10 years ago, I wouldn't go to Turkey often, and I would go. I'm still thinking it's the same. And then there was a period of time I didn't go for like 3-4 years, and then I go. I'm like, oh shit, man! Like it's not conservative at all. You know what I mean? Like everything is changing. Like back in the day, you would be afraid to talk to girls. Like you would think they're all, they're not really talking to guys. They're saving themselves for like their husband. I'm like, that whole thing changed. I'm from Istanbul. I was born in Istanbul. So Istanbul is the biggest city there. Mm-hmm. It's very European. It's just, it's just like the West. Everything is open. Nightlife is beautiful. It's just one thing should be careful of. I know you're married, but like, I'm a single guy who loves to travel. So like, everywhere I go, I try to have fun and party. You know what I mean? And that being said,
international dick slinger.
Pretty much. I mean, everywhere you go, you're trying to be. Listen,
pretty much.
I'm a single guy. I have nothing to apologize or to feel bad for. Like everywhere I go, I try to meet girls and like have fun. Like this is what you do as a single guy. You know what I mean? So like,
you're not wearing that cardigan for no reason, sir.
Say it again.
I said you're not wearing that cardigan for no reason.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You gotta pimp yourself out.
I really like that. I'm gonna ask you where you got it because I want to get one.
It's like a Zara or something, probably. I don't know. Do you want?
I might. I'll trade you.
But anyways, like. So you want to be careful when you're like, especially if a girl is with a guy, you don't even compliment her. Like here it's okay, like if there's a good looking girl, like, and the dude might be with him, like I go out here too, like I'll even like try, nobody really cares here, you know what I mean, like.
Well, sometimes it doesn't matter if they're with a dude, they're gonna be receptive to it.
Yeah, I didn't want to be that open, but like yes, true, but like that's something you want to be careful there, you know what I mean, so like. That's it, man. I don't know. It really depends on the region.
But is that what you're saying? Like over there, it's like a little bit more like they'll be offended because you didn't know they're with a guy.
Yes.
Okay.
They'll be, and even the guy actually might try to pick a fight with you. That's one thing. That's still a thing today. Even though like they change a lot. But actually, like, as a foreigner, like, if you're gonna go as a tourist just to explore, you wouldn't go to those conservative areas anyway. So like you'll pretty much be safe. You'll be good. But food is good. You should definitely go, and it's. I don't know what I haven't really been watching the news. I don't know what they show, but it's actually really safe. Well, it's as safe as it can be in the world right now. Nowhere is safe.
Nowhere is safe.
We see what's happening in New York. Unfortunately,
when I first started training with you, I remember you went. I think it was like that summer. You went for like 8 weeks. You were gone forever. But I remember seeing on your Instagram, man, you were living the goddamn life over there. It looked fucking
fun.
Awesome.
It's fun.
The food looked
How good is the
amazing.
food?
Food is amazing.
We have a lot of Turkish spots out here in the Yapank area because for whatever reason, Turkish people like German people.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of Germans out here. Now we have a handful of Turkish restaurants.
The porn.
I guess it's the porn, yeah. But I love to go to the Turkish restaurants and eat all of the food. I feel like Turkish people especially
They know how to make bread.
not only that,
Yeah,
but
good
they're like
bread.
real into freshness. Whereas Americans, we're not like into fresh
Yeah.
or the best quality produce. Whereas when you eat at a Turkish place, you know you're getting everything like a step up from a regular
That's
American
like
restaurant.
like any Mediterranean culture, though.
You're
Like
right.
that's the way they eat. Everything's
Quality
fresh.
matters.
Yeah.
Quality matters. Like from the olive oil, they like the seasoning they use to like, even like like you said the bread. Very simple. Right? It's just bread, right? But it's good bread. Like
Yeah.
There's Eric 2 fights ago. He was the main event, so we went in Westbury. Me and him, we went.
Oh,
to
that's
go
my
eat.
buddy's restaurant, probably. Where'd you guys go?
Where did we go? What's the place?
Mediterranean Clubhouse.
Yeah.
There's
On Post Avenue, right?
on
By
Post
right by
Avenue.
That's
Yeah.
my buddy's place.
We went ate there.
I go there all the time.
Dude, I'll
You
remember.
should. If you guys ever go, tell him you know me. He'll
All right,
definitely
we
treat you
will,
guys.
we will.
Oh, yeah, we
He'll
will.
definitely get you. He does everybody. Whoever goes there, they always give my name, and everybody gets like a free dessert or something.
Well, we went right before his fight, and I remember we eating that bread. And I remember me and him were like, dude, this is the best bread I've ever fucking had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember thinking like, oh, I want to stuff myself, but I have to fight in like 3 hours.
They always bake fresh bread.
It was fucking,
Yep.
dude. That's
It's
some of
good.
the best Turkish.
That's
food I had.
that's one thing. That's my favorite thing about Turkey, probably the food. You can't go on a diet in Turkey. Man.
There's a spot here by me in Patchogue. It's Medford. It's called the Medford Pita House. Fucking
Joe loves that place.
Oh yeah,
Joe loves that place.
Joe
yeah.
loves everywhere. Joe's Instagram is
He
like
loves
Jersey Mike
food.
subs and beers. Joe loves food.
I'm a foodie too. I'm a foodie for sure.
If you're ever out this way, the Pita House is legit.
Yeah, it's good.
I usually go to Brooklyn because I'm in Nassau, so like
Yeah.
Brooklyn's like a 45-minute drive. But like, especially if Turkish people go to that place, that that's actually good food. It's not Americanized and it's still pretty good.
Anytime the ethnic group
Yeah.
of the food is eating there,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know it's legit.
It's
Yeah.
a good,
Yeah,
it's a good
there's a spot in Westbury that's real good, and I can't remember the name of it, but a coworker of mine where I used to work, he was Turkish and Greek, and we used to have to do. I used to test like GPS devices, so we used to have to go like drive around. We drive out there because the restaurant was there. He like knew the owner of the place, was real good. We drive there, eat, and then drive back. That was like our test. But he grew up in Istanbul as
Oh,
well.
wow, okay.
Yeah,
We're everywhere, man.
yeah. He put me onto some good shit, man. He put me onto some real good food. He used to fly his mom in every year, and she would cook, and I would go to the house and eat, whatever she would make.
That's the
and,
best.
dude.
Like my mother's generation, like they're the best cooks. Nowadays, bro, like the new generation girls that can't cook shit.
Yo, and they're just like Italians.
Yeah.
All they want to do is feed you.
Yeah.
You show up, she's like,
mothers are the same. Yeah.
all she wanted to
Yeah.
do was feed me. She's like, "You hungry? You hungry? You hungry?" I'm like, "No, but yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, bro,
Because
I'm
it's just gonna be
Romanian.
delicious.
you kind of have to eat too. They won't let you go.
She would be
without-
offended, yeah. She wouldn't let me leave without she stuffed
yeah.
Tupperware, but they put me on the Spanico pizza there. Dude, the homemade shit that she would make, holy crap! And then I can't remember the name. What's that? It's like hummus, but it's garlic.
Baba ganoush.
No,
That's eggplant. Yeah.
Is that eggplant?
Yeah, Baba ganoush is.
it's like
roasted
it's
eggplant.
not actually hummus though. But it's like, oh fuck, I can't
It's,
remember what it's called.
it's a dip, just like hummus.
It's a dip, but it's like a garlic dip.
Garlic. Is it Turkish?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Best shit I've ever had with the fresh pita. Holy
Yeah.
fuck! And
I'm sure I've had it.
his mother used to make it, and I'll never forget. And I'm a bit, I'm Italian, so garlic is like fucking garlic and bread is right up
Yeah.
my ass. Dude, I ate. I ate a bowl, like a gigantic bowl, and his mom was like, I remember she looked at me, she's like, "So you like it?" I was like, "Fucking love it." She wouldn't let me leave. She made me a
Yeah.
fucking giant Tupperware of it. It was great.
Perfect for you.
Oh, dude,
Nice.
so good. I gotta say, I think outside of I love pizza. I always like pizza and Italian food. I think Turkish food is like the
Thank you, man.
Turkish Greek food is
Is it
probably
because
my
I'm
second.
here now?
No,
or-
no, no. Me and Eric get this shit all the time.
You
That's
better
like
not say that to every guest, every ethnic.
I'm not. I don't really.
I'm kidding.
I'm down to hurt somebody's feelings.
I feel like the big thing with all of like the Mediterranean style foods, you can eat a lot, but they're very light, so you don't feel very weighted
Yeah.
down like you do with
Yeah.
the
Well, it depends on how
Americanized-
much pita you eat.
No, I mean, but like even if you eat a lot of pizza, it's not like eating Italian bread from an Italian restaurant that
Yeah.
like might not be as fresh and might have all the preservatives in it. Like
That's
you
true.
know that bread from the Turkish place is fresh cooked bread from that day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas you can't say the same for just about any other restaurant on the island.
The two best breads I've had are pita, and naan.
Naan is fucking
Naan
awesome.
is. You ever have naan?
Naan?
It's
Indian?
It's Indian.
Oh, okay.
Dude.
Similar? Is it like
It's similar, but
brick
it's
oven,
thinner.
kinda?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a thin.
You gotta get some like good butter and like
Dude.
it melts on it.
it's
Oh,
fucking
it's so
good.
good.
My mouth is watering right now.
So I'm stopping to go get some food.
Oil.
I know, yeah, like olive oil dip. Yeah.
Do you know any places out? You live. Where do you live?
Seaford.
I fucking work at
Yeah.
Seaford. What's up, man? What are the good restaurants out there for Turkish food?
Like, I go to Vesper all the time. My buddy's place,
Yeah.
the one you were just telling me.
It's kind of far from my lunch.
There's Seaford. Oh, actually, there's one called Ephesus. It's right by. I gotta text you the address. I guess I don't know. I can't remember. It's really close to me though. It's gotta be. You know where Smoking House is?
Oh yeah, it's in
On Merrick-
Massapequa.
Yes.
That's
So-
where I went. That's the place. Oh, why did I say
Smoking
Westburg?
House?
That's the no, that's the place that my buddy
Oh,
took
Ephesus.
me to.
Okay,
Yeah, that's it.
That's a good place. Okay, that's a good
I'm
place.
almost positive that's it. I'm gonna text him now to make
Okay.
sure. It's in Massapequa, right?
Massapequa Park, I think.
Yeah,
Massapequa
yeah.
Park.
That's it.
It's between Sunrise and Merrick.
Because
I know
what's that? What's that? It's not too far from that taco place. Was it like Taco Joe's or some shit?
Yeah, by Starbucks.
Yeah. Okay. Same place. That's where we went.
Yeah. That's my hood, bro.
All right.
You better not. I better not see you making trouble out there. I'm the
troublemaker.
mayor. I'm the mayor of Seaford.
You got Seaford's all yours, man. I got Patchogue.
Yeah, he's like the de facto mayor of Patch.
Patchak is too far from me. You can have.
Well, all right, but I'm saying like when I'm out there, you take me around. When you're here, I'll take you
Okay,
around.
okay,
Deal?
all right, deal.
there
We
you
got
go.
this.
I got connections to a lot of good restaurants here, but we gotta get shit
Okay.
done.
Okay.
Ask Ryan LaFleur. I made
makes
Ryan's day at Toast that day.
Where's Ryan live? Does he live by the gym?
He's in West Islip.
Okay, that's still kind of.
It's a little bit in between.
Yeah.
I ran into him on like a random Sunday. I was coming out of the coffee shop here in Patchogue that I go to all the time. This place called Roast. I'm walking out and I'm like, "The fuck are you doing here, Ryan?" And he's like, my family wanted to come. He's like, "We heard Patchogue's cool."
He's
whatever.
one of my favorite guys, man. He's a really nice.
Awesome
He's
dude.
a nice dude.
Awesome, dude. I have a real fun story actually about Ryan and Eric. When I first started training, I just started training, and I'm the complete opposite of you, right? I came in to the gym like I want to fight, I want to be him. I was that guy, right? And they're like, "Oh, cool. Those guys over there are fighting." So like,
Go fight with them.
basically, yeah. So I didn't have a lot of experience. I think I'd been training like 3-4 months maybe. Eric was getting ready for a fight, and Ryan was getting ready for a fight. And it was me, Ryan, Eric, and Anthony D'Angelo. And they're like, "We need sparring partners, so you're up." So I sparred Ryan, Eric, and Anthony, and they kicked the living shit out of me.
Well, it's actually. I'm glad you're a tough guy. You came back. You're still, you're still doing it. So,
Dude,
Made it out, so.
not a lot of people will come back from that.
I shit you not. I still remember it to this day. I remember two distinct things. I remember being on the wall and Ryan kicking me in my stomach, and I remember this burning feeling, and I remember saying to myself, like, "What did you get yourself into?" And then I remember sparring with Eric, and he hit me, and then we were down on the ground, and I remember my headgear was over my face, and he was just fucking hammer fisting me, and I remember being like, "Oh, this didn't go the way I thought." And at the end
That's
of it,
not what I saw on TV.
yeah, exactly. And at the end of it, they were like, "So we're gonna spar on Wednesdays at this other gym. So like, do you want to come?" I was like, "What?" They're like, "Well, you didn't quit at least."
Listen, everybody needs a dummy, right? Every pro guy needs like someone someone you can beat on.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what they said. They're like, everybody else that we sparred with like crumbled and quit. They're like, "So you can come." I was like, "All right."
That was like way back in the day when like you would have these guys come in and they would go do the regular Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class, but they might have been like high school wrestlers or just like neighborhood tough guys, and they're just like, "Oh no, I'm here to be a UFC fighter. I'm going to fight UFC." So they would be like, "Well, we have some guys that do fights. If you'd like to go train with them, by all means." And then they would come and I mean, we were I was nicer than Ryan. Anthony was probably nicer than me, but like, I don't know. We didn't like kick the shit out of you that bad. Like I was like hitting you.
I had a pinched nerve in my neck for 3
You guys are
weeks.
friends now.
Yeah, they kicked the shit out of
You
me.
know, you just gotta let people know, because if you're too nice, then
Yeah.
they feel like, oh, they didn't
Yeah.
even beat me up, or oh, I have no training, and they didn't even beat me up that bad. So,
I had a pinched nerve in my neck for 3 weeks, so I got beat up pretty good. Like they weren't like actively trying to kill me, but they definitely weren't taking it. You guys kicked the shit out of me. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. Like we're all friends now. That was fucking 11 years ago. But I just remember that was like And I distinctly remember when we got down, I was like, oh, yeah, this is why they did this to me. They're like, oh, you really want, like, you sure you want to fight, bro? You know, because, like, how many guys probably rolled in there at that point? I didn't know. I just knew I was like, yo, I want to do this shit.
We would get a lot of guys like that in the Midwest. Midwest is the place to get those, like, weekend warriors. Like, they'll watch it on TV. And this is, like, back when, like, Tap Out was very, like, famous. You know, it was just like a thing in the Midwest, man. You would see every redneck in a Tap Out shirt. And, like,
it's hilarious. Like cut off sleeves on their tractor.
Yeah, all kinds, like chewing tobacco. You know, like you would see them at the local fight show, like kick his ass. Like they would like scream, like say the dumbest shit. You know, then they would probably get so pumped after watching these fights that they would try to come and like sign up at our gym or like one of the gyms there. Like they're like, so I just wanna fight. I don't want to, do the amateur shit. I just want to go fight.
I don't know about all that wrestling stuff, but these hands, bro.
Yeah, I got power in these hands.
I've met some funny people.
How many guys you beat up?
I wouldn't even mess with them because it was just wasting of time. I don't know.
You're a nice guy though. Like you're a legitimately nice guy too. So,
thank you.
I was
a dick though. Back then I was a dick. This is like when I was younger. No, I wasn't a dick, but my training partners, I'm like, don't go with me if we're going to go easy. Like, that's how I was back then, you know what I mean? But now I'm older, and I have to train smart, so I don't want to get in those battles in training. You know what I mean? Now
I never sparred with you. We rolled a bunch, but I never sparred with you, though.
If it's like a, 16-ounce gloves, headgear, spar session, I'll go hard. But, like,
we rolled hard though.
Yeah, rolling is you're not getting punched.
Well, yeah, but there's still there's guys that get butthurt about that shit. Like, like there's guys that get butthurt if you're rolling hard.
But also, like, there's always like these type of guys that they would never, like, let's say you're doing situational sparring, right? Like you start with a front headlock or something. They never let you get the better position, and when it's their turn, they'll lock everything up. And I'm like, I'm that guy to like put myself in the worst positions in training. I'm like, I don't care. But you take a lot of pride in tapping me. Motherfucker, this is training. Can you beat me in a real fight? No, no, you can't. Let's get real. Let's get real.
I was just having this discussion the other day about guys that won't give you an inch in training. I'm like an 80% guy in the gym. Like if I'm going against you and you're somebody my size and around my skill level, the most I'll give you is like 80-85%. Once in a while we turn it up a little bit, but then dial it back because if I'm going 100% all the time in the gym. And
until you get hurt.
One, you get hurt, and two, you never let anyone get a bad position, get you in a bad position. God forbid that happens into a fight. You're not used to getting out. It's like anything. Like, oh, we're here throwing punches and kick combinations, so we get used to it, or we're doing wrestling or jiu-jitsu sequences so that we get used to our offense. It's the same thing with defense. If you never let anybody get you in take your back and put the hooks in and get you in a choke in the gym. God forbid that happens in the ring or when you're competing, you're not going to be fluent and you're not going to be used to getting out of
You're
that
going to
position.
panic.
You're going to panic. And then you get tapped out with some goofy move that you shouldn't have got tapped out with. But just because you have such an ego in the gym, you can't ever like bear the thought of letting somebody else tap you out.
Well, I think it also leads to mental stress that like it makes you wilt, right? Like, because if you're the guy in the gym can be deceptive because if you train with the same people all the time, you know what they do, and you can kind of work your way around their strengths. When you're fighting somebody for the first time, you don't know what their strengths are. And if they get you in a bad position, you think you're fucked because you're never there in training. Yeah. So you think, I'm the man when you're training, then you go against somebody who you don't understand, you're in a bad position, and you think, oh, now I suck, I need to get it. Like, I don't think it's just not good.
It comes down to the ego, too. You shouldn't have any kind of ego in training. You can learn from anybody, and you should put in yourself those bad positions. So like when it's time to actually do it in reality, you know what to do already. Like this would happen to me. This would happen to me a lot when I would go visit Turkey. So like people know me. I was the only Turkish UFC fighter at the time. So I would go visit and I would get invited from all these gyms, and obviously I need training. So I'm a pretty down to earth guy. Like I go everywhere. Like I'm nice. I try to like.
Well, you're under 5'5", so you're real down to earth.
I mean, I'm down to earth, Dave. You're a dick.
I'm sorry. I'm
5'6", motherfucker. I'm 5'6", bro. Come on.
I couldn't resist.
At least I'm not lying about my height on my dating app. Like
I'm 5'11" on Tinder.
But anyways, like I would go to these gyms and like I'm always on vacation. I'm not in the best shape. These people would go like 100 miles an hour against me. I'm like, I'm a fucking human being, man. Like, okay, like, I'm from the UFC, cool, but like, I'm on vacation. I'm not really, I'm not in shape. So, like, and I know they would go and, like, talk shit from behind my back. Oh, like, he's in the UFC, but, like, he doesn't really deserve it. I just took him down. I just did this. I just did that. I'm like, yeah, but,
They
like...
go tell all their friends about it.
Yeah, of course. But I'm like, do I look like I care? Come on. I got nothing to prove. You watch me on TV, and you come and take pictures with me. Like, that's the best story of your life. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like...
No, you... The fuck was that?
Hello?
I heard that in the headphones. That was real creepy.
I did too.
Was that the computer?
On the TV,
Bro, the government is block the webcam.
We were talking about Russia and China. They're
I
fucking
know.
hacking us right now.
Snowden is watching us.
That was real weird. That was real weird. Does he have like remote software on there? It's like he fucking...
That's what's going on right now. Sorry, one of our computers.
So Nick's remoted into that right now. He's on the
Yeah, I
computer
just
from
turned
home.
the volume
That's
off.
exactly what it is. That's creepy.
He's editing video.
Yep. Okay. Good thing the tech guy's here. Otherwise, we would think that was ghosts.
I'm so behind technology.
Dude.
You're a tech guy. You're a tech guy.
Yeah.
Eric, you're a tech guy.
Finance guy.
You're a finance guy.
90% of my day, like with work, is going to solve a problem that's just, so we call it a layer 8 issue, right? So there's 7 layers of networking. The 8th layer is the person in the chair. So it's always a layer 8 issue.
So you're the 8th.
Yeah, so whoever's there, yeah, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just that people don't know how to use it. Literally, okay.
They forgot to click save.
Yesterday, an assistant principal calls my office and is like, "I need help. I can't hook up my computer to this monitor. So I have another monitor. It's for this whole separate, like, they have to scan tests and send them out." So I go down there. She's like, I can't figure it out. Now, everybody here knows what an HDMI cable is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on. Is that the one? I'm kidding.
So
I know.
it's simple, man. You plug the HDMI, you plug it into the fucking monitor. It's a monitor just like that. She's like, I don't get it. It's not working. I fucking turned it on.
That's bad.
Dude.
That sounds like my dad.
Dude. Alp.
Yeah.
She's like our age.
Oh.
It's not like she's a 7-year-old woman.
Yep.
Assistant principal.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Yeah,
turn on a
it's not
fucking...
okay.
I was just like, it's not on. That's it. That's 90% of my day. Because most people are real behind the ball on technology.
Yeah, I mean, so am I. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like they use it as an excuse though. For
A lot of
being
people do,
lazy.
yeah.
I'm
and,
just
like,
lazy. It's because it's not really my interest. It's not,
Right, but
I get bored on the.
That's
you know.
fine. But you know what? It's not. You don't need to. But if you are a person whose job depends on some kind of competency, you got to learn. Like, and honestly, teachers are the worst. They go, "I'm here to teach, not to learn." Oh, okay. You fucking idiot. So yeah, that's most of my day. But
I hear your pain.
so, what's next, dude?
I just did a jiu-jitsu match this weekend.
I was there.
Yeah, David was there. It was good. What's next? I'm trying to fight, man. I don't know. I've been trying to get a fight, but like we talked about this before. But so for the last 2-3 years, I had no easy fights. Everybody I fought, either in the UFC or top 10 in the UFC, no easy fights. And I'm like, and right now, I had a major surgery. Went through a rehab. Still, I don't feel 100% confident in my, physical ability. I don't know where I am. In training, of course, I do good. I have my days. Some days I'm on, I'm pretty good. I'm sharp. I feel good. My body feels good some days. And I'm 31. I'm going into 32 in March. So, for what we do, I can't consider myself young. Plus, I've wrestled my whole life. I've been in some tough fights.
It's not the age, it's the mileage sometimes. Yeah.
It is, and I'm very young in heart. I'm still all about, partying and loving life and living, but when it comes to using your body and doing something very intense physically, sometimes I feel it, and I'm not gonna lie, and I'm so at this point I have to be smart with training it, because 3 years ago I would train twice 6 days a week, I wouldn't feel a thing, but now I go hard 2 days, and I'm third day I have to take it easy, which is actually not bad. It doesn't mean I can't fight. That's what
It's
a lot
just
of
different. You have to train a lot.
You just gotta train different. Exactly.
Train smarter.
Yeah, but only offers I get right now is even in the UFC, like, you know, you come back from losses or like you come back from a surgery, they don't just give you someone who's top 5. So all they offer me right now is like title fight against an undefeated guy. I'm like, dude, come on. Okay, I appreciate it. Like, it's a compliment. I appreciate it. Yeah, there's you're tough though. Okay, I'm like, okay, but like that doesn't mean I should be a stepping stone for somebody who's trying to make it big because they're gonna
And
use
who's been
my
active
name.
as well.
Exactly, and everybody's like, I'm gonna be this dude's 4th fight this year. I'm like, no, man, this dude is active. He's sharp. He's gotta be good. You know, not that I'm like, give me like one decent fight, a fair fight, and I'm not saying give me an easy fight. I'm saying give me a fair fight.
Something that's on par.
Exactly, and I'll see where I am, and then I'll fight whoever again. It doesn't matter, but like, it's just plus like, you know, it's not all about. It's not even about fighting anymore. You know, like they want you to sell tickets. You know, this bullshit, that bullshit. I'm like, I'm kind of disliking the sport every day, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So like,
what's the Conor McGregor era?
Bro, he did awesome for himself.
Right, but it's changed. But it's changed what the game is about. Now it's about selling
exactly.
tickets and this persona.
And I also dislike, and this is another reason why, like, you know, after I started doing it, I told you, like, I didn't know anything about the UFC. I wasn't a big UFC fan, but and then when I wanted to get into it, you know, I wouldn't miss fights. You know, I would watch him, or I would go, or you know, something. And after like this whole thing happened, everybody's trying to be a Conor McGregor. So I'm like, I'm like, bro, just be yourself. People are gonna like you for who you are. People like Conor McGregor for being Conor McGregor. Whatever he does is like, whatever he does, it fits him and it looks good and it's watchable. Like you want to watch it, you enjoy watching him. But now, like you see Kevin Lee trying to be all like thuggish, or like, you know, trying to like, everybody's trying to do something that's they're not. You know what I mean?
Everyone's trying to market themselves
exactly.
for that.
Look, Fedor was never a talker. Fedor was just an Iceman. He never showed emotions. Did we all love Fedor? We all fucking loved Fedor, right? For who he was, because he was Fedor. Something was unique about him. There was something unique about him, so we loved him. So I'm saying, like, if everybody was trying to be themselves, and I'm sure if you're likable, if you're that guy, people are gonna find something to like about you. So like, don't be desperate. Don't fucking try.
You gotta
too
be
hard.
authentic.
Yes, now be you. You know, I can't. This is me, man. Like, I'm Turkish. Like, this is what I do. You know, like, I say stupid shit sometimes. I can't act. I can't be someone I'm not. You know what I mean? So like, everybody's trying to do something different. Like Tony Ferguson is all like trying to like all gangster shit, like trying to talk shit to people, or like saying stupid shit. I'm like, you're never presentable.
You wear sunglasses and stuff.
Yeah, and like shitty, ugly sunglasses. Get fucking better shades. You make good money.
I feel like he's like a ramped up version, like with extra weirdo, like Diego Sanchez style.
Yeah.
Like that weirdo, like praying in the rain.
Yeah, but I think Diego Sanchez is a little off.
Right, no, but I'm saying,
But like,
I feel
that was unique though. Like, he was total being him. I think that's him. That what you see is what you know.
Yeah, I think Tony Ferguson kind of like took from that a little bit. Yeah.
So,
I like that motherfucker gets scrapped though. So
I don't know, man. The whole sport changed, man. Like, now girls are trying to get a lot of attention, and the only way for them to get the attention is just to like show skin. And
Let's get naked in Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, like,
wait, we're complaining about this?
Listen, I'm not. Well, am I complaining?
I'm just kidding.
I kind of am, because you know, all you see is like girls with losing records, or like 2-1, 3-2. They get onto the big stage and like they're UFC fighters too. Like, what's special about it?
Well, I think me and Eric talked about this a while ago, and I think it's still. I feel like women's MMA
10 years behind.
is 10 years behind.
It is.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
It is.
It's at the skill level
and I
of
understand, and I understand there's a huge market out there, and I understand you make a lot of money from them. But at the same time, you gotta think about. Eric, behave. You gotta think about the quality of the sport.
Sorry, I was just they're making money.
You're right.
Money making. That's my money making
right.
gesture.
You're right.
All those kids late night.
I don't know.
That's the money shot, not the money making gesture.
Like, mom's in bed. They got the UFC on mute.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, think about this. We all got into the sport just not because there was money, or like, you know, my first pro fight, I made $380. That was what was left in my pocket after like cuts and this you know, paying this and that. You know, I was like, I never thought I would make money from fighting. You know, thank God I made decent amount with it for the period of time I was in the UFC. You know, but like, if you're in the sport for money and like for being famous and stuff, you're wrong because the chances are you're not gonna make it as very high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but now it changed though. Like everybody fights for a different reason. I don't feel like people are actually like trying to put the best fights out there. You know, it's just there's more talking and more marketing than training and being tough and fighting actually. So that bothers me and makes me upset as a fan. As the worst fan out there.
Well, you see a lot of these guys. I don't want to criticize anyone specifically, but you'll see guys that are from a specific country or from a specific area where you know they have a lot of like local following and you know that they have people behind them, and like sometimes these guys aren't good fighters, and like they'll come visit New York and they'll come down and train with us, and I'm like in my head I'm like, this guy's in my weight class. I can't believe this guy's in the fucking UFC.
Yeah.
And then you'll see them go and fight, and then some fights they win, some fights they lose. They get like a 50-50 record or something like that.
But they have to keep him on the roster.
And you look, they're on the roster because guess what? This guy looks like a model. He's like got the perfect hair. He's got like a hot girlfriend. He's on Instagram everywhere. Yeah. And you're like, yo, I tapped that guy out 5 times and knocked him down 3 times 2 weeks before his fight. Like when I wasn't in shape. And you're like, whoa.
I remember this.
The level of competition in, I'm not going to say where, must not be very high. I can't believe you're here, but look how many fucking Canadian female followers.
You said it.
sorry. But like
am I missing something?
And,
Where's the guy?
Or no, I'm not gonna say it. And or you see somebody else, like even like I don't want to say like Mike Bisping because he did get the belt and he has been around for a while. But how many decisions did he win in air quotes in England?
Matt Hamill was the worst
one. There were fights that you were
ever.
like, how the hell did they even decide that this guy won? That was like a robbery. But like you just keep seeing these guys get example back because they're like the stars from like wherever it is they're from. But it's the same thing with the girls. Like they're hot. She lost 3 fights, but she's hot. Then you see the ugly chick that loses 1 fight and gets shelved for a year. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
The perfect example is Connor's friend, that guy Artem.
Oh my god, that guy is such a suckle up. What's the word for it? Like he's
a remora fish is the little fish that swims underneath the big fish.
Yeah, he's a weasel, man. Yeah, I dislike that guy. I don't like him.
That's the most obscure fucking reference I've ever heard in my life. Remora fish.
And one time, and sometimes like I say stupid shit on Twitter too. Like I'm sure he doesn't even read it or whatever. But like one time he says something about like Khabib or Habib. Everybody pronounces different. But like I was like, he made a comment about like Russia and stuff. I'm like, yo, first of all, you're Russian, so like you're an Irish person, and you should stand by your people. I understand like you're from, what I mean, like it just, he's just sucking Connor's dick.
Tell us how you really feel, Alp.
That's the best I can come up with.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I might do that too. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm Irish, start speaking in a fake Irish accent. If Connor was like, oh, I'll get you some fights in the UFC.
Oh, I'd sell out in a heartbeat. For sure.
We'd both sell out, David. We'd get some Guinness.
I have some ginger in my beard. I could be Irish.
Becomes a little bit redder every week. You dye it a little bit redder.
Right.
Start walking around with like a bottle of like Irish whiskey.
Yeah, practice that brogue.
Then I don't know. Whiskey would be a bad idea. Then I would always be drinking. That would be a bad idea.
So, how did the rise with the grappling thing you did? How'd that come about?
They reached out because they're Ring of Combat promoters. Because they've been trying to get me a fight as well. So they're like, hey, do you want to do this? In the meantime, you just stay ready until we get you a fight. It's something to get hyped up for me, I guess. I said, all right, whatever. And I want to get Sergio. You know Sergio. You're straight with Sergio. I actually fought against him a long time ago. It was my second pro fight, and that's when neither one of us knew how to fight. Actually, we just did whatever. I won though. I won that fight. And then I said, all right, yeah, Sergio's actually pretty good at jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt. He's been actually rolling. He likes jiu-jitsu. I'm not a jiu-jitsu fan. Jiu-jitsu is probably my least favorite out of all the other combat sports. I'm like, it's maybe because I wrestled my whole life. That's a lot of grappling. I just don't want to learn any new grappling anymore. There's a lot of grappling, And it's like the whole concept of jiu-jitsu. I know it's a brutal sport. It's like the philosophy of it. And I love all of that, but like, just like the classes, man, they're so slow paced. I just can't stand it, and I can't stay focused for a long time. So like, it has to be high paced for me. That's why I like wrestling growing up. Like, I was busy. If the coach started like talking and like getting into lecture, I'm like, he would lose me. I'm like, and I can't warm up again. Once I'm good and warm and good to go, and like, if you cool me down, man, I'm done. Like,
It's over, yeah.
It's over for me, So, but anyways, like, Judas is, I did pretty good though. We had a 5-minute match, submission only. I almost had him actually. He tried to, it was good back and forth. A couple good takedowns. It was fun. There were some high-level matches though. Chris Wade had a freaking awesome.
That got a little chippy. It got chippy.
But did you see the highlight of that match was Drago reffing the match. And were you there?
No.
Were you there? You
no.
weren't there. So like Drago, Pete Sal Drago, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite guys, by the way. UFC veteran. He is actually one of the guys from the old UFC days. Like, he loves fighting. He still loves fighting today. And one of those, who do you remember some of his fights in the UFC?
He fought Nate Quarry. He fought Scott Smith. He fought.
He's fought like some of the
everyone.
baddest dudes
Yeah.
back in the day, and like tough fights.
Fought Baroni. Beat Baroni back in the day.
Oh, he did fight Brody? I don't remember that.
Pete Sell was actually at the first MMA event that I ever went to. I think I was like 17 or 18. It was at the Vanderbilt.
He was fighting?
Yeah, it was at the Vanderbilt. He fought, and I'm pretty sure Matt Serra fought a guy that was wearing a gi.
It was like pancration.
Those
it was
days.
pancration then too. There was like slaps only.
No. It was full UFC rules. It was full UFC rules.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of the guy's name that Pete Sell actually fought. It was like a tough guy from either Poland or Russia.
Oh, wow.
But it was like, this was on Long Island.
The Vanderbilt.
While MMA was illegal back in the day, and they would advertise it as they'd fight in a ring. It was actually Ring of Combat, but real old school. And you'd go there, and in the beginning of the event, there'd be like a whole bunch of like kickboxing and boxing matches. And then at the end, there would be like 3 or 4 MMA fights. So it was like pretty wild.
Not sanctioned or
Not anything. I remember one night we showed up to the event because they had a few of them. And while we were there, the athletic commission was in the parking lot turning all the cars around, and they canceled the event because they had found out about it.
That's badass, actually.
But this is
That's
like
underground
pizza,
shit,
underground in the 90s.
But anyways, back to Drago. So Drago, everybody calls him Drago. But so he's the ref, and he's in the middle of the mat, and I think Chris Wade had a single leg. Who was his opponent's name?
Sydney Outlaw.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Pretty
too,
good.
He was pretty good too. I think he fought in the Contender Series. I didn't watch
I think
him.
he's a Ring of Combat champ too. Or
Oh,
something
okay,
like
nice.
that. Yeah, he's been around the local shows for a while.
He came to my locker room, asked for my foam roller. Nice guy. Spoke to him briefly. He looked like a nice, humble dude. But so Chris had a single leg, and he was trying to finish it, and long story short, they fell off the stage. And referee's job was pretty much to like stay on the edge and like push them in or like stop it.
Make
stop
sure
the
they
action.
don't fall off.
Yeah. So like Drago he's watching, but like is he watching? I don't know if he was watching. So he's in the middle watching, pretending to be watching. And they fell off the stage. Drago still reacts to it like 2 seconds after this happened. So he's like, whoa, what's going on? He's like, what do you mean what's going on, man? You're supposed to stop them. So like I'm laughing. This was after my match. So like I'm right by there just watching, standing in the corner. I was like, I'm dying. Matt's staring in the back. We're all like, he actually knew what was gonna happen. I was with Sarah and Aljamain Sterling. So like we're both standing. Sarah saw that coming before he even he shot the single. Before they even went to the edge, Sarah starts screaming, Drago! And then next thing you know, they're off the stage. I was like, shit, man. I was worried about that. Outlaw, the other guy, not Wade, but the other guy almost got hurt. Something bad was about to happen.
If Wade wasn't so athletic, he would have gotten hurt because he
caught himself.
He caught himself pretty well and avoided crushing people in the stands.
That match was intense, man.
It was real intense.
They were mad. They
were talking shit afterwards. Yeah, dude, they were clubbing each other.
Yeah.
Snapping heads up, closed fists, just clubbing the shit out of each other,
were.
talking, and then they had to be separated at the end of the match.
I left right before the whistle.
The match ended. It ended with them like 50-50 standing clinch, like over under, and the time ends, and Chris I think Chris pushed him away, and then like
Pushed him.
mushed him, like face mushed him.
Yep.
They had to get separated, and the dude, who's the guy? Matt, the promoter.
Oh yeah,
Matt,
Cully.
he like yelled at Sydney because he like was trying to go, like they were trying to get after each other.
Wow.
Yeah, it almost turned into a fight.
I mean, Wade is a badass dude too. Both guys are. I guess when both guys are pretty badasses, no, even though it's a grappling match, you don't want to lose, obviously. And they both take it pretty. I mean, Wade takes a lot of pride in his grappling. He's a sick grappler too. So
yeah. Well, I think he took the going into the stands. It looked almost like he gave him a little help getting into the
Oh,
crowd.
really?
Yeah, I think he took that. He wasn't too happy.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Who helped who?
It kind of looked. I didn't get to see the whole thing. I kind of put my head down, but I saw Chris fly off the stage. And some people that were like, "Yo, it looked like it kind of you could."
Chris got shoved.
There were a lot of people were like, "Yo, if you saw that, like, you might think the guy tried to push him into the stands." And I think Chris felt the same way because like when it looked like when Chris was getting back on the stage, the guy was like trying to be like, "Oh shit, my fault." And Chris was like, "Nah, motherfucker." And then it got intense. And like I was standing on the side, like on the very side of the mats. And like you could hear them when they were clubbing each other.
Yeah.
Like you could hear like that thud. Like they close fist just.
I was behind the curtain, like where the coaches were. I was like, I could hear.
I was across from you, I guess.
Yeah.
Were you on the side where the table
Yeah,
was?
I
I
was
was on the other side. And you could hear them like clubbing each other. It was a pretty intense match, especially for a grappling match. And after that, it was like everyone was like, "Oh shit!"
Because jiu-jitsu is all about like respect and stuff, like
Yeah.
But they're
Not this
they're-
time.
no, not this time.
Yeah.
But Mirab, Mirab.
Yes, he went against
Georgian. He went against a big guy.
He went against that guy Nick Cruz or whatever. That's the
Yeah.
dude that Nick Fury fought. That fucking ringer. The guy had like 8 million, like fucking sambo and like
wrestling. Yeah,
wrestling.
he's from Tajikistan.
Yeah.
And apparently he has a lot of wrestling.
He's a real good
experience.
wizard.
Yeah, Nick fought him in Ring of Combat for his very first fight.
But that was a very exciting back and forth match. There was more wrestling though.
I didn't get to see that one.
That was actually the best match of the night. I think it was very action packed, back and forth. Because jiu-jitsu can be boring if it's just on the ground, but these guys were both like trying, very active. So that was a good match. But
There's some pretty good matches. I thought it was a pretty good event.
yeah, I didn't watch them all.
No, me neither. I was in the back with you for the
Yeah,
first.
yeah, we were downstairs talking.
Yeah, I was in the back with you probably for the first 45 minutes or so. So I missed the
And
first.
imagine if they all go to distance. That's a long night on jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
man. I can't do that.
No, I was upset when I got there. I saw how many matches there were. I was like, I'm gonna be here till fucking
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning.
That's that submission only format. I mean, it sort of lends itself and has some advantages because you're not
try.
getting guys stall out and just go for points the whole time. And it's very attractive, though, too, for somebody that might not compete on the regular. Oh, yeah, I'll get involved with that because there's a less likely chance of you losing.
Yes and no.
But
So
it's
in the
also
EBI
boring.
style, right? If it's 5 minutes only and there's no overtime, yes. But if you do it EBI style, a lot of these guys now they're gaming the system. Their plan is to stall out as much as you can in regulation and go to the EBI overtime, and they train only for that back take or that spider web. That's all they're looking for. So the whole thing is don't get tapped in the 10 minutes because it doesn't matter what happens. You can get taken down, guard pass mounted. As long as you get submitted, you're not losing. You go into the overtime period, I'll start on the back, and I get the submission, I win. How it's like the quickest escape, whatever. So guys are game planning for that. There's always a way to gay it up, for lack of a better term. But
No, it's true.
I give that the promotion Rise. They did it well. They moved along.
Yeah, it's actually good that they're doing it so that their jiu-jitsu became a whole different sport. Nobody knew what it was. Now they're doing just jiu-jitsu shows.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, nobody really watches wrestling. Unless you're in like the college sports and stuff, it's being forgotten.
That's why I think this is good because it's not. I don't think it's just jiu-jitsu. It's grappling.
There's a lot of wrestling involved. That's
Well, think of how many guys are on the card. You had the guy Marab, the guy he went against, you, Wade, the guy Sydney, a lot of wrestlers.
kid with the singlet.
Oh God, Potts. That was Potts. That was the kid who we were telling you about. He came on the show
yeah.
when the CO2 thing. Yeah, he's an interesting dude.
I saw him. Yeah, he said because I guess he was Aljo's roommate or teammate in Cortland. He wrestled in Cortland. So I met him briefly.
He's a good kid. He's funny. He's real funny.
I mean, if you're wearing that singlet in a jiu-jitsu match, you gotta have some kind of humor.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude. My buddy Steve, the guy who you thought was my brother,
Yeah.
they trained together at one of the gyms, and like I said, we had Potts on the podcast. He was talking about how they all just like abuse him. They call him like the millennial fuckboy. This is pretty funny. And then one of the guys that was there, he's an old school Sarah black belt, and he was there to corner him. He was just relentless, just breaking his balls in the locker room. It was so goddamn funny. They were just relentless on that kid. But he takes it in stride. He's got a good spirit about it. So
That's good.
But yeah, it's
Take shit.
the first thing they said. He took the singlet, and the guy Steve was like, "Did you bring socks?" And he was like, "What?" He's like, "No, it's barefoot." He's like, "Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about." He's like, "You should have brought socks. You should have stuffed your singlet."
Oh, like that? Oh, wow. Nice. That's funny.
That's rough.
So, there was something I heard. I don't know. You tell me whether or not we'll talk about this or not. When we were there backstage, I know you kind of got into a little bit of conversation about a promotion coming to you for a fight.
Yeah.
Is there anything happening with that? Can you discuss it or?
Like there's a few promotions trying to get me fights.
Yeah, well, I know a guy there that night. While I was talking to you, approached you, and you started
Oh
talking.
yeah, that was it. That we didn't talk after that.
Oh, okay.
But, no.
I didn't know if anything came of
Yeah.
that. Okay.
No, nothing is happening.
Okay. I
I
wasn't
don't
sure.
know. I might just retire. I don't know. But I'm like, why did I even have a surgery? I had the surgery so I could fight a little more. But
So maybe just wait and see what comes your way. I mean,
yeah, I'm legitimately considering pro boxing though, and it has nothing to do with like the Conor thing, but it's just I had a hip surgery, right? So like, and I've been giving my friends who are pro boxers sparring sessions, like, and I have two good friends that are pro boxers. They
I see on your Instagram all the time. You're sparring at Westbury Boxing Club, right?
well, I go there sometimes sometimes it's an easier location for me and my other friend to meet up. But I'm helping Anthony Carperes. They call him the Showtime, and then John Hernandez, and they call him the Hitman. They both have pretty cool nicknames, but they're both pro boxers, and they're both my size. They're like a couple. I don't know the weight class in boxing, so they always have like one of them is over with a fight, and then the other one gets a fight. So like they always fighting back to back. So like they love using me for these spar sessions. Well, first of all, I progressed a lot in boxing. You know, my boxing got real legit because it was easier for me not to kick and just box. So they kind of helped me a lot, and I love boxing. It depends. Like I don't love watching every boxing match, but it's so much more fun to do it. And when you actually go against good guys, it's real challenging and it's a lot of fun. So like there are times I'm not even in shape, and I give them like 8-round sparring sessions. Like, you know, this is really good, high level, back and forth, action packed. You know, and I do pretty good against them. And I'm hoping that they would give me like an entry level, like my kind of level boxer. You know, like it's gonna be my debut, obviously, if I was ever to do it. So like they've been actually telling me, they're like, yo, you need to get a boxing match. Like, let us get you a boxing match. I'm like, I want to, but like, you know, I'm still waiting on MMA. So like, if they come at the same time, I would of course choose MMA over boxing. Right. But I'm like, if this keeps happening, I just want to stay active and like, I just want to fight, man. Like, they're still fighting. You know? When Glory came to New York last, there was a talk about like me being on the card, and I said, okay, perfect. Like, I'll love kickboxing too. I'll do it, whatever. And then it turned out to be a whole bullshit, dude. Like, you know, I guess they talked about like selling tickets. I was like, I don't know, and then they never reached back. So
The one that was at the Garden?
Yeah.
That fucking doesn't that sell itself? What the fuck?
I don't know. They want local guys to sell tickets and stuff. I'm like, dude, come on, what is this? You know.
They're hemorrhaging money, so I think they're looking to make every dollar they can.
Yeah. Bro, even Bellator is doing that sometimes. Like, they want their fighters to sell tickets on the undercard. I'm like, come on, you're the number 2 biggest organization in the world, and you really... Like, I'd never seen that in China. They were selling tickets, no problem.
That's crazy.
I don't know if it's because there's a lot of people, but they were selling tickets, you know? So...
I think you should box, man.
I'm considering it. You know, it's a lot of fun. And there's no money in boxing, and I would never, you know, like I said, I would never fight for money, especially like starting boxing. You know, pay is gonna be ridiculously funny, but like,
it's like you said,
it's a bucket list thing, though. I want to be able to say when I get older, I want to be able to say I boxed as a professional boxer. You know,
well, not only that though. I mean, if you think about it in terms like this is the way I think about some of these things. It's like I equate it to like physics, right? There's bodies in motion tend to stay in motion, and bodies at rest tend to stay at rest. So if you're having a hard time right now getting the ball rolling in MMA, if you can get a boxing fight easier, get the ball rolling, get busy, I feel like it'll lend itself to the next thing coming about a little bit better. You know what I mean? I'm a big believer in that kind of a thing. Like, because you're active, you're doing your thing, and the second that your focus comes off, you know, like when you ever notice, like the second you stop giving a shit about something, it like materializes.
Anything. This is about anything.
Yeah. The second you're like, wow, whatever, you're over it, all of a sudden, bang.
This is like a job application, or this is like anything that you're waiting to hear for something for so long, and the second you're like, whatever, man, I totally forget about it now. I don't even think about it.
Right.
And then
you get
the call.
You get on the boxing train, you're over it. Next thing you know, bang. Like that's another reason why I feel like you should do it. And I've seen, dude, I follow you on Instagram. I see you. It's all the time. I've seen the sparring footage. You look fucking good, man.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't say like I'm really good, but like boxing, I think my boxing is becoming one of my strongest, assets so far. Like I wrestled with some high school kids recently. I was like, I haven't been wrestling. I was like, holy shit, man, I need to take a break. You know, these kids are pretty fast and they're not getting tired. You know, it comes back though. Wrestling is very natural for me. Like, give me 2 weeks, I'll be back in like wrestling shape. But also, you know, how, like Dana White was talking about like being a boxing promoter. I'm hoping that not like pure boxers, but like I'm hoping that maybe they'll come up with something where like they have MMA fighters, UFC fighters do boxing in a UFC promoted event. Like, that would be pretty cool. A lot of the guys would actually get it because there are a lot of good boxers in the UFC.
Yeah. And I feel like you can box a couple of times a year, and it's, I mean, not great getting punched in the head, but the training is a lot less wear and tear on your body than wrestling and the up down and the jiu-jitsu and the leg kicks and everything. I mean, you see guys that are able to box like clear into their like late 30s, early 40s that had smart careers and taking advantage and taking care of themselves. But most UFC fighters don't make it that long. I mean, how many surgeries? I mean, it's just about everyone that fights has had a surgery.
Yeah.
At least one. I mean, I've had two, and I'm only an amateur with 8 fights, and I've had 2 surgeries. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that would be like a good thing, especially because they need to keep a lot of these guys busy because they don't have enough shows to get everybody to fight 3 times a year.
They should come up with something like, you know how Bellator does MMA and kickboxing at the same time, same night? They could do something like that, and this would bring a lot of attention to boxing again. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, boxing is a lot of fun. It's just they're doing a horrible job with marketing and promoting. Yeah. You know, nobody really knows what's going on.
You can they fight against each other. The promoters fight against each other. It's there's too many different promotions and 45 different belts and 800 different weight classes, and people it's too much to follow.
You could have some real good grudge matches too, like bang it out. Almost, I don't want to say like a tough man type format in the UFC, but like 2 guys have been beefing for a while. Maybe they're in different weight classes. But you know what? Maybe they can like meet in the middle in an arbitrary boxing weight class and box it out.
The first match I would make out of that would be Josh Koscheck and Paul Daly. Because you know, Paul Daly was so mad he got wrestle fucked. Like that's the grudge match you settle there. No, like, now you gotta punch me, motherfucker.
I think Verdun versus what's his name? Was it Ferguson? Who's the guy that threw the Lee that threw the boomerang at? Did he?
Colby Covington.
Covington.
But that was a bitch move by Colby though, because you're talking all this shit, and when he's actually trying like, you know, come at you, you're like, you're being a bitch, and you're not even like, you're kind of like...
Oh, he knew he was about to get swatted like a fly. I mean, Verdun is a big guy. I'd be...
Heavyweight dog.
I'd be afraid of him.
He's like twice the size.
And he was trying to talk shit after, like, they kind of grabbed Verdun, and just, come on, dude. Talk shit when you're face to face.
Yeah.
You know? But...
I think he knew Verdun was going to give him the business if they got, like, too close.
Yeah, just on the weight advantage alone, that's not looking too good.
Verdun was good, man. And I think Stevie called out Anthony Joshua one time.
Like, still doing it, yeah.
When the whole thing happened with Conor and stuff, and Anthony Joshua, I don't know, tweeted back and said, like, who the fuck is this? Did he say something like that?
Yeah.
He said something like that, right?
Like that. I saw an article about that. He was like, who
are you? I love Stevie, but that would be a horrible fight for him.
Oh, that would have been a wipeout. Like, Stipe's got good boxing, but not...
Because people don't realize... That was the perfect fight for Mayweather, for Conor. You know, he didn't get, like, destroyed. Like,
right.
So a lot of MMA fighters think they can do it, but I'm like, dude, not against
somebody that has knockout power and
Yeah.
is going to put you away.
If Conor fought Pacquiao, a power puncher,
yeah. Dude,
You would get
don't
knocked
not
even-
seeing
don't
10
even
rounds,
Go there,
yeah.
Don't even go there. Like, let's take, I don't know, like Brendan Rios. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I do.
that guy would kill him.
Yeah.
Rape him, bro. Like,
Errol
seriously.
Spence.
Marquez.
Oh, don't even go there. Are you kidding me?
Fuck, yeah.
Errol Spence is on a roll, man.
yeah.
I rewatched the last round of the Mayweather-McGregor fight 2 or 3 days ago, and everybody said, "Oh, it was an early stoppage. It was an early stoppage." And if you actually look at what was going on right before the ref stepped in, if the referee, I won't even say let it go one more second. Say he didn't even let Mayweather hit him one more time, but didn't hold Conor. Conor probably would have been either fell down or was very, very close to doing the fish dance on his feet.
I think he would have went through the ropes.
But
That's how
he
bad he
says
was.
that's what he does when he gets fatigued. You know, he's like, oh, I get wobbly.
Yeah, he
Like,
looked like
dude.
he was.
Everybody
wobbly.
gets wobbly when you have a concussion.
Yeah, he looked like he was
That's
on.
what I'm saying.
He looked like he was like a 17-year-old girl on GHB. He was fucked up.
Yeah.
He was about ready to lay down on the floor
Bro,
and
for
just be
that
I'm
kind
good.
of for that kind of money, for that amount of money, he should have taken a little more beating. I would have watched it.
Well, they were trying. I feel like they were told to protect him too. I mean, he's a big moneymaker. They don't know if they're doing a rematch. You don't want to retire a guy from his career just for the sake of making the fans happy. Because at the end of the day, fuck the fans.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he fought Mayweather.
I don't think he'll ever fight. But.
No. That's why he fought Mayweather, because Mayweather's not a murderous
Bro,
puncher.
look
He's a
at
boxer.
Maidana. Maidana fought Mayweather twice. That dude has the biggest belly now. He doesn't give a shit. He's living the dream. You know,
he's
he's
got
like,
that
I'm
money.
out. He's like, I'm out, man. All he does is drink, eat. He does nothing but just live the dream now.
He earned
Get
it.
that money.
He earned it. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
So, all right, what are we? We're at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, just about.
Alp, we usually wrap up around 2 hours, man. Goes quick, right?
Can I go home?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it.
Thank
It was
you.
good.
Thank you guys
it was
for
good to
having
catch
me.
up again. You know,
I know,
we haven't
yeah.
seen each other in a while. It's good.
We should do it again.
Whenever you want.
Not
man.
here. We can go get food. We can go get food.
Too far for you, huh?
You guys come out to Nassau often, so
I'm in Seaford 5 days a week, man.
Yeah, you're right by
I'm
me.
out there all the time. You
Come
let me
out
know,
to
man.
the garage and work out in the garage.
I'm down.
Okay,
100%.
For sure.
Tell me when.
For sure. All right.
Give me a day, and I'm
Okay.
100% in. I'll bring all my stuff. And
Okay. You always have your stuff with you. So.
Yeah, yeah. You know, because I leave and I go train.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm always packing my
Okay,
shit.
sounds good.
So we don't know what's next, but
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, they're trying to give me something for March.
okay.
So I just.
Do you know which promotion, or you can't say yet?
No, Ringo Combat is trying, and a couple others are trying. You know, it's just gotta be a right opponent. Like I said, all they offer me is title fights against undefeated guys. I just have no interest in that right now.
So drop your social media where people can get a hold of you: Twitter, Instagram, all that.
It's Alp, my first name, obviously, Ozkilic MMA with my last name and MMA at the end.